Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here, and it's Wednesday morning, and the Raptors are in Indiana to play the Pacers, who are on a 3-game winning streak after a 13-game losing streak. So Siakam and them have had some good times going recently, winning their last 3 straight after losing a lot. Yeah, they're 9-31. And I mean, I don't want to rain on Siakam's parade and Rick Carlisle, but we got to because we don't want to lose some more. We need to win this game. You know, we're in a very uh, competitive spot in the Eastern Conference and the Atlantic Division right now, and we can't afford to lose to a team like Indiana tonight. So, Raptors, take care of business. And well, let's go look at the latest lineup news because this is getting longer. The list is getting longer for the Raptors right now. And hopefully we'll be able to weather this by next man up and seeing great performances from new unsung heroes coming up through the roster because we got a laundry list. I'm going to tell you right now, Chucky is out, of course. Chucky had surgery last week, and he's going to be out for 6 weeks from last week. So, you know, he's still out for over a month. RJ is already ruled out for the game today. So this will be the 3rd game missed in this stint by Rowan Barrett Jr. because of the rolled ankle against the Celtics last Friday. So RJ is officially out today, guys. Jakob is officially out also. He will not be returning to the court to see his best friend, Pascal Siakam, and compete with him in fun hijinks and smiles and pushing and shoving and talking trash. No, that's not happening tonight, unfortunately. No Yak. He is not back. Jacoby, yeah, he's still out too, due to that right hip pointer. That's what it is. It's a right hip pointer. So Jacoby is still not available for today's game. Also, we got late word last night that Sandro's sick. That Sandro is sick, and he is questionable for the day today due to an illness. That's reported by Blake Murphy. Thank you, Blake. We love you. Yeah, Sandro Mamukelashvili is questionable, guys, and that's our injury list. No Brandon Ingram, no Scotty Barnes. So we know that at least those guys and Mr. Quickly are going to be available for the Raptors. So I don't know how to speculate our starting lineup. I mean, they've been doing quick shed lately. You guys think the quick shed should continue in the starting lineup? That throwback look of Lowry and Van Vliet as a small backup, the small guards in the line backup in the backcourt. Should we do that? Should we do shed quick shed? Let's start the game once again. Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Murray-Boyles, quick shed. Does that sound like a winning starting lineup for tonight? Combo, Scotty, Brandon, quickly, and Jamal. Yeah. In fact, listen to this, guys. This is so interesting. ESPN has come out with their new power rankings this morning, and this is very fascinating, guys. Very, very fascinating. Listen to this. I'll go from the top 10 in the NBA, according to ESPN's power rankings. Oklahoma City, number 1, of course. They've been sitting there for a while. Detroit, number 2. Yep, they've been there for a bit, too. San Antonio is number 3. That makes sense. Number 4 is Denver. Denver has jumped up 3 spots, even with Jokic out. They continue to win, even without Nikola. They beat us. They've beaten everybody, left and right, Denver Nuggets. So they're at 4th in the league now, jumping up from 7th. Minnesota at 5. They jumped up a few spots, too. New York has plummeted. Or no, wait, New York is still at 6, holding fast at 6. No, the team that plummeted was the Celtics. The Celtics have had some bad games this past week, and ESPN has punished them by dropping them from the 4th team in the power rankings to 7th. So the Celtics dropped 3 spots in the last week. Phoenix is 8, which is weird to me. They're doing that good, really? Dylan Brooks is that kind of effect? Look at that. Can you make a case that Dylan Brooks is better than Kevin Durant because he made the Phoenix Suns better alongside Devin Booker? Is that kind of weird, guys, that the Suns are winning right now? I think that's weird after losing for 2 years with Durant on their team. I think that's really weird, guys. The team that Durant is on has dropped from the 5th spot to 9th. They've been losing a lot lately, too. So they're at number 9. And guess who's number 10, guys? That's right. We've jumped up 2 spots from 12. We are at number 10 in the ESPN Power Rankings as of this morning. Toronto Raptors. They're saying that Jamal Shead and Murray-Boyles were the surprise standouts over the weekend in a comeback win over Philadelphia. But that victory was sandwiched between losses to Boston and Philly, the 2 teams closest to Toronto in the standings, which helped reaffirm the Raptors' place in the Eastern Conference hierarchy. Barring an improvement before the trade deadline, they profile as fringe contenders, but still a step below the conference's top teams. That's Zach Cram. There's some underhanded slights in that write up, but for the most part, it is very positive. And I just love to see us continue to rise up in the ESPN power rankings because at the beginning of the season, we were number 24, guys. They put us at number 24 in such a disrespectful spot last October. And well, look at us now. We started from the bottom. Now we're here. That's right. We're at number 10, motherfuckers. We're number 10, and ESPN can't even deny that. Just above Philly. That's right. We leapfrogged two teams. We leapfrogged the Philadelphia 76ers, who stuck at 11, and we leapfrogged the Lakers, guys. They had the Lakers higher than us up until last week, up until this week. Yeah, they've dropped from 9th to 13th in the ESPN power rankings. So Raptors are number 10, and they're citing Shed and Colin as big reasons for jumping up in the power rankings. So, yeah, I think it'll be Quick, Shed, Colin, Scotty, and Brandon starting again tonight. That's just the most powerful starting lineup. I think that starting Oshai and Grady is just out of the question at this point. Oshai for particular reasons and Grady for particular reasons. And Jacoby's out, so Jacoby doesn't really get any kind of warrant. And if Sandro's out too, he doesn't get any kind of consideration either. So I think it's Quick, Shed with BI, Scotty, and Colin. I think that's going to be our starting lineup. On the other side of things, Indiana does have some injuries also. Our guy Benedict will be out today. We love Mathurin. He's a Canadian. He's on our Canadian team. North Montreal stand up. But that Benedict Mathurin is out due to a right thumb sprain. He's had trouble this year staying healthy. He's missed a lot of games this season already. And he's definitely not 65 game eligible. So hopefully Benedict gets healthy faster than slower. Tyrese, of course, is out for the season. We knew that he's been out since the finals last year with the right Achilles tendon injury. Obi Toppin had surgery on Halloween, and he has been pretty much out for the season also. So the big man off the bench, Obi Toppin, is not available for Indiana. And then two-way, Isaiah Jackson has been in concussion protocol. And, he's cleared the concussion protocol, but he needs a week of conditioning. So he is not available tonight either, Isaiah Jackson. So who are the Pacers? Well, we saw them a couple times earlier this season already. We beat them in the in-season tournament, an epic game where Brandon hit a game winner at the buzzer. And, well, who are they and who is on their team at this point in their depth as far as who we should see in the starting lineup? Well, Andrew Nebhard, Canadians' great Aurora's finest. Mr. Andrew Nebhard starting at point guard, and it'll probably be maybe Ben Shepherd in this the shooting guard spot or TJ McConnell. We'll have to see who starts in the place of Benedict. Aaron Nesmith is healthy. He is back, and he is part of helping them get back to winning ways. Of course, Aaron Nesmith, a very, very cagey veteran in this league. Pascal Siakam at power forward. Of course, our guy, number 43, one of the greatest Raptors of all time. If you got me picking top 5 Raptors of all time, Siakam is in that top 5. And if you don't put Siakam in that top 5, well, what are you doing? That man's a champion all around with our team, and a most improved player, and just an all-star, and so many different accolades. That man is more important to me in Raptors history than Vince Carter. I want to say that right now. That may be controversial. But to me, Pascal Siakam is more important in the history of the Raptors at this point than Vince Carter. That's right. I said that. That sounds controversial. That sounds like, no, you're crazy. We wouldn't be even a team anymore if Vince didn't come. Bullshit. I think we would. I think we would have been a team even if Vince hadn't come here. And Siakam's got the hardware, and he's got the accolades that Vince never got on this team. So listen to me and hear me out. Pascal Siakam is a more important Raptor in the history of the Toronto Raptors than Vince Carter. I want to normalize that. Seriously. Jay Huff, the center that I laughed at last summer when they signed him and said he was a replacement for Miles Turner. Yeah, I'm still laughing about that because he's no replacement. That's for sure. Off the bench for the Pacers, they got TJ McConnell, one of the most admirable players in the league for his heart over height. Ben Shepherd, Johnny Furpey, Jerace Walker, Cam Jones, Quentin Jackson, Micah Potter, Ethan Thompson, Tony Bradley, and that's about it. That's about their team right there. Yeah, so they don't have a very deep, talented bench. They have a lot of interesting, hardworking guys, but they're not that talented. And in some ways, we need to kick the crap out of them. ESPN has us matchup predicting that we're 60% favored to win in this game, 40% for the Pacers. So 60, it's like 59.5. 59.5%, the Raptors will win against the Pacers today. So, yeah, there's your latest lineup news. Let's go ahead and get into the refs right away, right now. In the replay center tonight, Rodney Mott. Rodney Mott, I see you sweating on the court from Sunday night, trying to hit job the Raptors. Yeah, I see you. He's going to be in the replay center with Evan Scott. So it'll be Evan Scott and Rodney Mott. Scott and Mott in the replay center at Secaucus. Now on the ground in Indianapolis, this is who we got. We got legacy referee Brian Forte as our crew chief tonight, number 45 in his 19th season out of Fairfax, Virginia. He loves the show Breaking Bad, the Odyssey of Walter White. Man, what a great show that is. That says a lot about Brian Forte, good taste in TV shows. His favorite movie is The Godfather Part 2. We've had this discussion about those movies. His favorite book is The Count of Monte Cristo. He likes to eat sushi. He watches Netflix, and he most like to visit Spain. Yeah, you should go to Spain. It's awesome. The Raptors go there every summer, apparently. And it's cool, Brian. You like it. You like it. This is going to be the first game that Brian is referee. No, wait, this is the second game Brian is refereed for us this year. Forte considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be his first playoff game, game one of the first-round series between the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors on April 19, 2014. So, yeah, his most memorable game is the first playoff game that he reffed, which was that playoff series we lost to the Nets, where Kyle Lowry fell down on the ground at the end of the series in Game 7, and Paul Pierce fouled him, but they didn't call nothing. And DeMar DeRozan came over and picked up Kyle and said, "It's okay. It's all right, man. We're going to come back and get it next year." Yeah, so Brian Forte has his most memorable game. It involves the Raptors, which is very interesting to me. We did have Brian once this year already, and we lost. We lost the game that he refereed so far this year. We win 55% of our games when Brian Forte is present at the game, and the Pacers win 58%. So he does favor the Pacers with a higher winning percentage over his career. So it's 55-58 for the Pacers with the crew chief. The second ref today is Nate Green. Nate Green in his 7th season out of Des Moines, Iowa, number 41. He loves the show The Wire. He likes to watch Coming to America. His favorite musician is Selena Johnson. His favorite book is Lone Survivor. He loves that tagliatelle bolognese, and he watches Netflix also, and he most like to visit Africa. So I guess him and Forte were streaming the Netflix before the game because they both like that. That's right. This is the first game for Nate Green with the Toronto Raptors this season. Nate Green has officiated 222 regular season games in 6 seasons as an NBA staff official. Now, Nate, his situation with us and his record is very even. We win 53% of our games with Nate, and the Pacers win 53% of their games too. It's I break it down the percentage wise. It's 52.9 for the Raptors, and for the Pacers, it's 52.6. So because of the home court advantage, we're going to say Nate Green is an even ref today because the percentages are very, very close and pretty much even. So it's technically 52.9 to 52.6 for the Raptors. But if you put the home court advantage in there, it's even. He's an even ref today, Nate Green. The last ref today is a very junior ref and one of my favorite new refs that have been reffing. And I've been seeing reffing all around the world in different spots and different places. And she is just awesome. Let's just put it that way. She's just awesome, y'all. And that's Jenna Renault, number 93 in her first season out of Crum, Texas. Yeah, she's awesome, man. Her favorite TV show is The Office. She loves the movie Step Brothers with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. That'll tell you a lot about her sense of humor right there. Her favorite musician is Fleetwood Mac. So if I was at the game tonight, I'd be singing her some Fleetwood Mac songs just to try and, get her favor. Her favorite book is Vibrant. She likes the meal Lunch. Her favorite app is Lifetime. She'd like to visit the beach. And her hidden talent is a hot air balloon ride, and her bucket list is a hot air balloon ride, and her hidden talent is spike ball. Spike ball. That sounds crazy to me. That sounds crazy. Jenna Renault officiated for 9 years in the NBA G League, refereeing 3 straight finals from 2023 to 2025. As a WNBA official, she's worked 4 consecutive playoffs from 2022 to 2025, the finals in 2024, and the All-Star game in 2025. So she's a very decorated ref in G League, WNBA, and FIBA. So she's a FIBA ref. She refs a lot of the international game around the world too. So she's a trained FIBA ref too. It's very, very cool. Yeah, Jenna's awesome, man, guys. We've had her ref us twice ever. Twice. The Raptors have only been twice ref by her. She's ref the 905 tons of times. Just trust me. I've seen her in 905 a lot, but she's refed us only twice. And guess what our record is with Jenna Renault in 2 games that she's ref? 2-0, baby. 100% winning with Jenna Renault so far. We did have her earlier this year, and we won the game that she refereed this year already. She refed a game for us last year, and we won that too. And well, the Pacers are 1-1 with her. So it's 500. She really is a very brand new ref at the NBA level. So the split with Jenna is 100 to 50 for the Raptors. Yeah, I know it's a small sample size, but it looks good that she's 100% winning with us. That's right. Jenna, let's go, Renault. That's right. There's your ref report. Forte's not a bad ref. Like I said, he's a legacy ref. His dad, Joe, refereed for many years in the NBA, so he comes from in his family. And I watch him pretty good. He's a pretty on the up and up kind of ref. I trust him. Nate Green historically has been fantastic for the Raptors. Let's just put it that way. He's been a pretty good ref for us too. So, it's the Pacers. The Pacers are in a bad place at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. We need to just kick their ass. If we were really going to be a serious team, we can't afford to lose to a team with a record like Siakam and them have right now. We just can't. You just got to take care of these kind of things in this kind of business. Seriously. There's more breaking news this morning that I want to bust out real quick. We are going to react to the 905's amazing win last night very soon. But there's an article out on ESPN this morning I want to go over too from Tim Bontemps, and it's about the NBA All-Star 2026 team and who he thinks is going to make the team. And he's saying the starters, the reserves, and the roster battles. Well, in the Eastern Conference, he's got starting Giannis, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaylen Brown. That seems very fair. Honestly, all 5 of those guys are great. Giannis is on the worst team, but he is that kind of player that should probably start in the All-Star game. I can't get mad at Cade, obviously. I can't get mad at Jalen. Tyrese is below us, but we've seen Tyrese recently, and we know that he deserves it. And Jaylen Brown, it's kind of a legacy thing. But I tell you right now, if it wasn't all those 5 guys, Scotty Barnes should be in the starting lineup. He's that close at this point. Now, this is what the thing is. The reserves, this is how Tim Bontemps sees this right now. He says reserve locks. He thinks that these are players that are for sure going to make the All-Star team by the coaches, and that they are a lock to make the All-Star team. Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers, I could argue with that. Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks. We've seen him recently. I could argue with that. Jalen Durant of the Detroit Pistons. I think they're doing this just because Detroit has the best record and they need the second best player from their team. But I don't really think Jalen Durant is an all-star. I really don't. If he gets it, it's really a testament to the Detroit Pistons leading the Eastern Conference. And, well, the last name on here is Scotty Barnes, Toronto Raptors. Yeah, Scotty, and this is what they're saying. Barnes has continued to develop his strong two-way game for Toronto, which has settled in as a contender for home court advantage in the playoffs after a rough start to the season. Yeah. So Tim Bontemps is conceding that Scotty is a lock to be an all-star this year. And I think that I think we all figured that. Now, on the other part, Bubble Watch for making the team also, Desmond Bain of the Orlando Magic, Karl Anthony Towns of New York, Norman Powell of Miami Heat, Michael Porter Jr. of Brooklyn Nets, and Pascal Siakam of the Indiana Pacers. That's fun, man. So, yeah, that's the kind of the way that Tim Bontemps is looking at the Eastern Conference All-Stars right now. Scotty's a lock as far as he's concerned. No Brandon on that list at all, though. And that, I don't know why. Maybe, like I said, you guys, they got to have a time where he sets up a runway up towards coming back with getting accolades and attention. And it's just too new. He's like, oh, he's in Toronto. It's just the first year. He's got to prove some longevity there and also show that he can do it again next year. And Brandon should be an all-star next year, absolutely, for sure. We'll just have to see. All right, here's the comments in the chat. We'll start off with the Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J. Good morning to you, Trevor. How's the weather in Fort Lauderdale, sir? His words of wisdom are, don't wish harm on anyone, but life's going to give you back what you put out. And you can't go around treating folks like dirt and think you'll have a happy life, just remember God is always watching. That's good. That's good. I like that, especially right now with a lot of people treating people like dirt, with the U.S. government quoting the KKK and Nazi quotes all over the place all of a sudden. Yeah, they're literally putting like statements out that are historically statements used by the Nazi SS and the KKK. Like, don't even hide your white supremacy, Trump administration, with all your crazy tweets, adding that stuff in there and stuff like that. It's crazy, man. They're not even hiding that they're openly racist white supremacists at this point, and they're downplaying the protests. They're trying to say, "Oh, it's just a couple people." That's bullshit. You can see those pictures. There's millions of people in the streets right now protesting because of the murder of Renee Good and just the ICE presence and all this kind of stuff. I saw footage before I just now came on the stream of ICE arresting a kid on the street walking home from school. They went and harassed a child by himself and took him and put him in a van. That's traumatizing and wrong to do that to a child. Like, what kind of world is this, United States? What are y'all doing down there? Y'all are messed up. And there's no justification for shooting a woman in her face. I don't give a shit if you thought she was a bitch or whatever you said. That dude is a cornball and a murderer and a fuck. It's all fucked up. And the people got to take the power back. So listen to lots of Rage Against the Machine and get ready to take the country back from the pieces of shit that are running the United States right now. Because we need this to happen. The world's watching. And we're rooting for you guys, on the real Americans, the ones that will fight in the revolution against MAGA and the bullshit administration right now. You are the real Americans. You are the ones like the Tea Party. You are the ones that fought for the Constitution and the freedom to be declaring that you're independent. And in some ways, y'all got to get that energy back again, because I believe in the idea of America. And we cannot let a man named Donald Trump destroy the whole entity and idea and concept of what the United States is supposed to be. No, 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 no. The true patriots, the real Americans, the people like George Washington and Abraham Lincoln are the ones in the streets wearing regular clothes, and they are all ages and all races and all walks of life. And all the people that are walking around in ICE uniforms, you're the fucking Nazis. You're the bad guys, and you're the ones, just like the redcoats, that we're going to drive out of this continent and fuck y'all up, just like the Revolutionary War and Commander George Washington did so long ago. So you have a problem with understanding which side is the right side of things right now? I just spelled it out for you right there. I just spelled it out right there. The real, true American patriots, the real people that stand for what America is, are the people that are in the streets, organizing and protesting and resisting the president and his bullshit right now. I don't even want to call him the president, because he's not. He's a con artist that stole the election 2 times in a row. He never actually legally got elected. And that's the biggest con in the whole entire world he ever put on the world. So yeah, just a little side there, right there. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor J. Yes, let it all come back to them, what they put out. Yes, Trevor J. Yes, let it come back to them. That's right. That's right. Put out that peace, love, and harmony and happiness, and you will get that back. You put out the racism, the subjugation, the degradation, the humiliation, the hurt, the pain, the injury to other people. You get that back. You get that back, ICE. You will. You will get it back. Trust me. One way or another, you will. You will get that back. That's right. Trevor J saying, happy game day. Beat Indiana Pacers tonight. That's right. That's right. There's no other alternative. I don't want Raptors Nation to go fall off a cliff because we lost the Siakam Pacers tonight. So take care of business, Darko and the guys, because we can't have social media meltdown tonight because we lost to the 9-31 Indiana Pacers. We can't have that, Trevor. We can't have that. These people will like seriously be acting out if that shit happens. That's right. Trevor Jace brought up the game last night, which was an amazing game. Oh my gosh. It is so great to be a Toronto Raptors fan. I'm telling you right now, to be a Raptors fan, woo-wee, it's a nice time. It's a very, very nice time. 905 had no business winning that game last night, but somehow they came back in overtime and still win after a couple of overturns. That was wild. Yeah. Yeah. That game last night against Birmingham Squadron, the second of 2 that we played in the last 3 days against the New Orleans Pelicans G League team, was a wild one, man. We've had some wild ones this week with that 1-point win for the Raptors on Sunday night against Philadelphia. Well, this was kind of the similar thing, except the energy in the crowd was exactly the opposite. Some would say there were 5 people at that game in Birmingham last night. The official record on the box score said 905. That's right, 905, baby. Was that a joke? Seriously? Because like I don't know why on the ESPN box score it said attendance 905. Yeah, we attended and we took it and we won by one in the Elam ending overtime, which was crazy. The game was very close the whole game. It was tied at halftime. There was like very little huge leads for either team. The biggest lead that was built in this game was by Birmingham in the third quarter. They got up by 12 on us. And, you know, people in the chat on YouTube were getting, oh no, we're fumbling this one. Oh my gosh, what are you doing, 905? But like, you know, real ones have been watching them know that this is nothing. This is kind of just normal kind of stuff that 905 does. Amazing things like coming back in the fourth quarter and winning games when they're down by 20 in the third. So it's like, it's not that scary when they're down by 12. I mean, come on now, guys. So it looked like it was going to be tight, and it was. And I was like, man, I don't think there'll be overtime because Tyreek Key missed this free throw, and it's off by 1 point. You know, sometimes if the score is not even and it's a 1 point margin, that doesn't really tend to lead to an overtime because it's like, oh, you make a basket, it's still a 1 point margin. But somebody missed another free throw in the last minute of the game, and it evened out, and then there was overtime. And it was a crazy, man. It was a 92-92 at the end of regulation, and the target score was 99. And well, the Raptors 905 at the beginning of the overtime scored really quick baskets and got it to 97-92. And they just needed one more basket, 2 more points, and they'd end the game. And the squadron had not scored anything in the overtime yet. They were just sitting at 92 still. But all of a sudden, the Raptors 905 start fumbling, turning the ball over, like Trevor said. And the squadron got to 98 all of a sudden. And it was 98-97. I'm like, holy crap, they only need to make one free throw and they'll hit the target score and win the game, Birmingham. Well, it's crazy what happened. We had the ball and we're inbounding it to try and score. And all we need is 2 points. We just need a dunk, a layup, anything like that. We're inbounding the ball, and the squadron steals the ball on the inbounds, and they're running down the court to get this. They only need 1 point at this point. Like if we foul them, they go to the line and they win the game. So this guy gets all the way to the rim, the squadron player. He's dunking. He's just about to dunk it. And Tyreek Key runs up behind him. This is so crazy. And he blocks the shot. But on the camera angle, the original camera angle, it looked like he bodied him. And they called a foul. So there's a foul call on the play. And the guy's about to take the foul shot at the line. And Andrew Jones says, like that. He does this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. An amazing challenge call. Because the refs go and look at it. Ken Jones, Billy McClatchy, and Eric Alig, they go and look at it, and they look at the other angle. Because the angle from the straight view of the camera angle on the court, it looked, you couldn't see it because like Tyreek's body was obscuring the squadron player, and it looked like he hit him with his body. But when they went around to the other side from the end line angle, they saw there was broad daylight in between the body of Tyreek Key and the squadron player. And he absolutely did not body him. He did not hit him with his body in any kind of way. And he cleanly touched the ball too and blocked it. Like he didn't even hit him on the hand. It was like a perfect, crazy, above beyond defensive play by Tyreek Key that absolutely saved this game. And Coach Jones for having the balls to call the challenge at that moment. You know, he could have just let it slip by and just like, okay, they're going to shoot the free throw and they win. But no, he called the challenge. It was absolutely key. So we got the ball. This is the thing. We didn't even get possession after that. It's just like because we hit the ball out off the block. So they had the ball still, and we're still 2 points away from the target score, and they're 1 point away from the target score. So they throw the ball in, and Tyson Degenhart steals the ball just like they stole it from us. And he gets up the court. He throws it to Tyreek, and Tyreek lays it in. We win. Oh, my gosh. It was amazing. 99-98. Raptors 905 win again, 9-1 in the regular season of the G League. And overall, since the beginning of the G League tip-off tournament, 23-2. 23-2, y'all. That's officially their record's 23-1, honestly. But 23-2. They've lost 2 games this whole entire year and won 23. And they could have easily lost that one last night. I love what Andrew Jones said after the game in his interview. He said, not his interview with the team in the back in the locker room. He said, that's why you guys give multiple efforts. You give multiple efforts over and over again because the basketball gods will smile on you. They will take care of you. If you show multiple efforts, if you keep going at it, the basketball gods will reward you. And that was Andrew Jones's message after the game. I'd say this, Coach Jones, you call that challenge, the referees will reward you too, especially if you got it right. Tyreek Key, wow, man, he's my number one star of the game because not only did he have that very impressive dunk, I mean, a very impressive block at the end of the game, he also was the leading scorer for the 905 last night with a amazing performance. You know, he it's kind of like, all right, AJ, Elijah, Chucky, Jonathan, they're all gone. So who's going to step up and be the leader? Who's going to step up and carry the 905 in the absence of the two ways and Jonathan Mobo? Tyreek Key. Tyreek Key. That's who it is. Tyreek Key. And say his name over again. He's the key. Is key. That's right. 39 minutes, 23 points, 9 and 19 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3. He hit his free throw, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 1 block, a +5. That game was that close, y'all. That game was so close the whole entire game. Very, very close matchup. Very much the opposite of the 45-point rout they laid on Birmingham on Sunday. Very much the opposite. Amazing. Amazing. I mean, honestly, if y'all aren't watching 905 games and you're a Raptors fan, you need to start watching them this season. Seriously, because this is an entertaining, as fun team to watch. They're so fun. And the group in the YouTube chat is growing every night. There's more and more new names in there watching them and getting on board with watching the G League Raptors because they are amazing, y'all. My second star of the game for the 905 last night is Jarkel Joyner. Jarkel has been starting in recent games with all the guys away. 14 points for Jarkel in 31 minutes, 5 of 11 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3. He made his only free throw, 4 rebounds, 8 assists with 3 turnovers, a +12. Jarkel had the best plus minus of all the Raptors 905 last night. So he's been a steady scoring. It's kind of like him and Tyreek are like a pairing. These guys are both natural scorers, but they're different kinds of scorers. You got Tyreek Key is more an Anthony Parker kind of player build with a lot of steals and outside shooting threes. And then you got Jarkel Joyner, who's more like a Javon Freeman Liberty hooper who can get to the basket really fast, but also has a pretty good jump shot too. So these two guys are the 1-2 punch of offense for the 905 right now with AJ, Elijah, and the other guys away. So yeah, Jarkel, I salute you, man. You're my second star of the game. My third star of the game is the ever-surging Olivier Sarr. I mean, seriously, the man has picked up his play in recent games, and he is looking more and more like a 10-day contract could come to him just to try him out and see if the big can do anything to help the Raptors on the Toronto Raptors level. Because Olivier is showing a little bit more competency in the recent games. It's like the beginning of the season, he was awful. He was dreadful. He was a mess. Well, he's getting his shit together apparently recently. 33 minutes for Olivier, 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting. He made both the threes he attempted, 2 for 2, 9 rebounds. So it's a 10.9 rebound game with 1 assist, 1 turnover, and a block, a -2. I know these stats aren't that super impressive, but you got to understand what his stats looked like earlier this year. Seriously, this is a jump in some ways. Also, fourth star of the game, the young Julian Reese, brother of Angel Reese, had a nice solid game off the bench, 17 minutes, 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, and a block, a +3 for young Juju Reese, who's definitely a project, definitely a work in progress, and he is not polished. But I love the 10 rebounds and the 4 for 6 shooting. Yeah, I like that. And the 2 steals in the block, too. That's awesome. And my last star of the game for last night is Tyson Degenhart for getting the final steal of the game, to get in the passing lane and getting that ball right at the end when it really mattered. And honestly, him and Tyreek won the game for them last night. That you don't get that steal, they inbound the ball and they make a point, they win. If Tyreek doesn't get that block, we don't win. The defensive plays were the reason why the 905 won this game last night by the skin of their teeth. Tyson Degenhart off the bench, 35 minutes, 11 points, 5 of 13 from the field. He missed all 4 of his threes. He made his free throw, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, including that very important one at the very end, +6 for Tyson Degenhart. We'll go over the rest of the team real quick. David Roddy, not a very good shooting game last night. 28 minutes, 5 points on 1 of 8 shooting. including 1 of 5 from the three-point line. He made his free throw. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 turnovers, and a steal, a -5 for Roddy. Patrick McCaw has been starting in the absence of the two-ways. It's fun to see Toronto Raptors champion Patrick McCaw be starting defensive presence, because that's really what he is. He's a defensive specialist for 905. He's not trying to shoot. He's out there to have heady defense because he's got a lot of experience. He knows what he's doing. He's always been a good defender at whatever level. And, well, he's using that at this point. And he doesn't care anything about scoring. In fact, I think he shies away from shooting most of the time. But Patrick, in 18 minutes, 5 points on 2 of 8 shooting. He was 1 of 6 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover, 3 steals, a -9. Off the bench, other guys that played last night, Quincy Guerrier, 20 minutes, 8 points, 1 of 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers, -10. And AJ Hogarth, he gets my honorable mention from the game last night. 30 minutes, 15 points on 5 of 14 shooting, 1 of 3, 3 of 5 at the free throw line, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, and a +2. Yeah, they had 9 guys running for them last night, a 9-man rotation. Jaden Bediako did not get into the game. On the other side, I'll just make a couple mentions. Hunter Dickinson or something. Hunter Dickinson, 22 points on 10 of 15 shooting. And Keon Brooks Jr., 23 points with 10 rebounds. Also a double-double for NBA player Jaden Springer, 12 points and 12 assists for him. Yeah, just a fantastic game, a resilient effort. And as Andrew Jones says, if you do things right, the basketball gods will reward you. And that's what I'm saying. The ball gods are watching. And when you do things right, they will reward you. That's it right there. Very, very close game. I don't even know if going over the team stats will have much to tell us. It really was the story I just told you about the Elam ending overtime and how that went down. It was a lot of fun. The announcer for the squadron is a Southern gentleman with a Southern drawl, and he's kind of fun to listen to, honestly, because of the way he calls the game. But he's very learned. He knows a lot about basketball. And there was some debate whether he's too much of a homer for Birmingham. Well, that's kind of the way announcers are. They like to call their home team closer. But I want to give credit to him because he does call some of the game from the perspective of Raptors 905. Like, he was very glowing about Tyreek Key. In their presentation, they do present the other side because in some ways they're the only broadcast for the game, and they know we're watching too. So G League announcers are not like NBA announcers. They have to call the game for both sides because there's no other announce crew for the other side, right? Right? So they're pretty good about that, man. They had no business winning that, Trevor. You're exactly right. They had no business winning that. And honestly, you guys should watch the highlights if you can, because it's interesting to watch how it all went down. It's amazing, Tyreek's block, seriously, because he's not a big guy. He's like 6'4", and he got up there and he really cleanly blocked it. It was amazing. It's like, no. He's like, no, we're not losing this way. He sprinted down the court to make that happen and went all out, and it worked, man. Tyreek Key, I know he got the chain. It's 2 games in a row he's gotten the chain, guys. He got the chain the last game against them too. So it's like he's a 2-time chain winner because that block at the end was just OP, man. Seriously, it was crazy. All right, Raptor Freak James is in the house. Good morning, James. How are you doing? Lex, what's your thoughts on Toronto interest in upgrading the guard position, John Morant? All right, you've asked me this already, James. You've asked me about whether I want John Morant on Toronto, and I told you I don't. I know you posted a highlight of him in the Discord server last night of him dunking on Wemby. I don't care about that. That's highlight shit. That's not championship shit. That's sizzle. That's not steak. That's Vince Carter shit. That's not Pascal Siakam shit. We want to win championships up here. We don't want highlights. I don't give a shit if John Morant can dunk on Victor Wembanyama. That does not impress me. A lot of people have dunked on Victor Wembanyama already. No, I do not want John Morant here. It's not an upgrade. I would tell you right now, I'd much rather have Emmanuel Quickley, our point guard, than John Morant. Yeah, I said that, Raptors fans, because Emmanuel is more dependable than John Morant is in his career. John Morant is not dependable, man. He's hurt just as much as Emmanuel, more than Emmanuel. And also he's flaky and he could get suspended and cause all kinds of trouble. It's a big fat no. You've asked me this already, James. And why do you bring these questions to me about other people coming here? You know what? Doug Smith's got an article out this morning on the Toronto Star, and he's basically saying this. It's a halfway point of the season, and the Raptors are above schedule. They're ahead of schedule. And you know what else they found out about the Raptors? The direction they're going is the right one. That's what Doug Smith's whole article this morning on Toronto Star is saying, is that the Raptors found that they are successful in what they're doing and they're in the right direction. Why would we want to go in the wrong direction by picking up a knucklehead named John Morant? James, stop asking me about these big names. I'm going to tell you no on all of them because, first of all, I'm not a trade guy. I think that when you make trades, that's admitting that you fucked up your team and it's wrong. I think Bobby and Masai have gotten this team right, and they have no reason to go get anybody else. We need to continue to develop from what we're doing with what we got. And I'm not a trade dude. Seriously, I'm not trying to do Bobby's job. I'm not trying to say, oh, get this person, get that person, like the rest of Raptors Nation. I like to watch the basketball, react to the basketball, talk about how the team's developing, going over the analyzing of what happens and not speculating what may be happening or what should happen. None of that shit matters to me. It really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. I'll react after Bobby does something. Like if he did trade for John Morant, then I'd talk about it. But he's not going to. Let this go. And Raptors fans that keep pushing for shit like Trae Young, Anthony Davis, and John Morant, just give it up. We've got Brandon Ingram. We've got Scotty. We've got RJ. We've got Emmanuel. We've got a good team. And we are the fourth team in the Eastern Conference. And we are going to the playoffs this year. And in some ways, I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So why the hell do you guys keep asking me about John Morant? Because honestly, I think that Emmanuel Quickley is a much more winning player towards the championship than John Morant is. Because what the fuck are you going to get from John Morant in the long run? A lot of confusion and him disappearing and not being there when you need him the most, whether it's injury or just him being flaky and getting in trouble and not being available for your team. Emmanuel Quickley is much more dependable than him, is what I would say. And some people laugh at me and say, well, you think Emmanuel's more? Yeah. I'm saying by the aggregate, by the whole accumulation of the prospect and whatever, I'm saying to this, I ride with Quickley over Morant because I think that Quickley's more closer to getting an NBA championship than John Morant, because some of it with John Morant is up here. And in some ways, the stuff up here will get in the way of your championship because he's not right up here to do that in the right way for the team. He's selfish. He's not for the team. He's an individual in the NBA with a brand and a persona. And he's not a team player. If he was a team player, he would have treated his Grizzlies team better and acted better and done things better for the team, instead of just for his selfish wannabe gangster ass. So yeah, it's a non-starter, James. And just because he dunks on Victor don't mean he should be a Raptor, is what I'm going to say that right now. Yeah, he's better than Trae Young and LaMelo, in my opinion. I will agree with that. I'll agree with that. He's a more winning player than both of them too, Ja. But he's still not more of a winning player than Emmanuel. And that's what I say right there. You know, John Morant can do all this stuff in the game, dunk, and do this. But once again, is he going to show up when you need him the most at the end of the game and hit a game winner? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? Is he known for any of that? No. So it's like you want a selfish player to come to our team that isn't going to be respecting the team. And once again, I will tell you what Michael Grange told everybody last week when this shit started last week with the rumors about John Morant in Toronto. Michael Grange said very clearly, and I appreciate him for this. It's not often that I'm appreciative of Michael Grange, but I was of this thing, is that you got to remember the history with Darko and the Grizzlies. Darko was an assistant coach, and he's coached Ja Morant. He was with Ja Morant and Tyler Jenkins. And, well, what happened? Tyler Jenkins got fired because of Ja Morant. And Tyler Jenkins is one of Darko's best friends in the entire world. So he does not have a high opinion of Ja Morant. I think that if Bobby came to Darko Rajakovic and said, I want to trade for Ja Morant. No, Bobby, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. That's what you get right there, James. Like, think about this realistically. Darko's been around Ja. He's seen the headaches he causes. He knows what he does. And I bet you, Michael said this, and Grange said this. Grange is on the inside. He knows. He said Darko is not a fan of Ja Morant. So how the fuck is Ja Morant going to be on our team? Seriously, our coach is going to probably nix-nay that one right there. It's like if they were going to talk to Bobby. Bobby's going to talk to Darko. He's going to ask him. And Darko say, no, do not do it. Like, logically think this out, James. Don't just think, oh, it's a dunk on Wemby. He's got to come to Toronto. No, let's realistically think about this. Darko was there with the toxicness of Ja Morant. He's seen what it was. You think he's going to advocate with Bobby? Yes, please go get him. Go get him now. No, he's going to say no. Hell no, don't get him. because we've got good vibes on this team. And John Morant come in here and fuck that all up. You want to get a guy to come in here and teach bad habits to the rest of our team? That's what you do if you get John Morant. I'm telling you right now, it's a dead end. And I wish people would stop bringing this shit up. Seriously. It's just waste of time, man. Jimmy's saying it right here. We don't need a trade, especially for immature problem starters. Boom goes the dynamite. Jimmy Pope gets a dunk. Jimmy Pope gets a dunk. He's just laid it out there right there. Exactly right. And Darko knows firsthand from his experience in Memphis. Trust me. He knows John Morant because he coached him for many years when he was there as an assistant coach. So, yeah. And Jimmy's saying, if anything, we need a backup big. That's it. Exactly. Jimmy's got it right. He sees it exactly right. If there's a hole in our roster, it's the backup big. And that is a move that we can make. And all signs are pointing to an Ochai Agbaji trade to get a backup big. All signs are pointing to that. See, we are dealing realistic ideas for trades for the Raptors. It's better than just making up all kinds of crazy ideas than actually looking at the lay of the land and looking at what's going on with contracts, looking at what makes sense, looking at what is possible even. And Oshai's expiring contract and probably not getting extended with us is signaling he's on the trading block, and he is a good piece to get a very decent second or third center for us. That's it right there. It's very simple. Jimmy's got it. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Game day blessings, beloved Raptors Freaks family. Who fans your flames? Keep burning off the dross until your best is seen. Excuse me. Known and recognized. Your best is yet to come. I love this, man. I love this. You know, I turned 50 last year, and to manifest things for my 50th year on this planet, I wanted to say that the rest of my life is going to be the best part of my life. That's what I told myself, and I want to manifest this. I said all kinds of great manifestations: peace on earth, accountability for crimes against humanity, fixing the environment, protecting us all, Raptors championships. I had all this stuff on a list to manifest. And one of them is to live my best life after 50 and to get just like the best stuff. And I totally feel this right now, what you're saying. Who fans your flames? Who gets that desire in you? Who makes you excited to get up out of bed and do what you do? You know what I'm saying? I love that. Yeah, the best is yet to come, Randolph. I truly believe that. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. The best is yet to come for all of us. We're going to make this world shaped in the way that's right for all of us. We're not going to let madmen and rich oligarchs decide what this country, this continent is going to be like. We're going to fix this, guys. Watch. The people are going to get it right. That's what I'm saying. I see more and more of it right now, and I get inspired because I really do see that we are powerful as the people. And we're going to make this happen, guys. I feel it. I believe it. Milbester's here. Good to see the Knicks freak. Mr. Milbester, how have you been, Milbester? Happy New Year's. I hope you've been very good and happy. Morning, Lex. Haven't been here since 2025. 13 days into New Year's Eve. I was wondering where you've been, man. Seriously, I've been worried about you a little bit. Just stopping by. How's everything? And how are the Raptors doing? Just been watching NFL playoffs. Teams are good this year. Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, I went down to the game on Sunday to see the Sixers versus the Raptors. And I tried to go to Real Sports to eat before the game. Adriana and I like to eat at Real Sports before the game. I will go in there, get a steak fries or something like that. And well, we couldn't get in. And I was like, what the hell? Real Sports is gigantic. They've got rooms every which way and so many seats. How the hell could I not get in? I did not realize that Real Sports on Sunday afternoon was hosting a Buffalo Bills playoff party. And it was jammed. It was crazy how many people were down there for the NFL to watch the Bills play in their playoff game on Sunday. Yeah, it was jammed. We couldn't get a seat in there. So we went and ate at 11 instead at the other end of the building, which was good too. But yeah, the playoff fever for the NFL is here. I saw it firsthand at Real Sports on Sunday. People were crazy down there. I hope you've been doing really good, Milbester. Your Knicks are still going strong. Staying up near the top of the Eastern Conference. And you guys have been doing pretty good. We love OG. We'll always love OG. That's right. And you guys can always love RJ and Emmanuel too. So yeah, we have those ties that bind, Milbester. So peace and love and happiness to you, sir. And much love from Raptors Nation to you, Knicks freak. That's right. Stargate saying this. Please stop trying to fantasy trade IQ. He ain't going nowhere. We don't need to no damn upgrade at point guard. Stop listening to all the nonsensical adolescent prattle. All we could use now is a backup big. That's it. See, Stargate and Jimmy are on the same page. I'm on the page with them too. I'm on the page with them too. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. This is really subterfuge. It's confusion. It's just really weird stuff. In some ways, what this does is it puts Raptors fans and fan nation against players on our team because it makes people think, oh, yeah, we should get rid of Emmanuel. It's very toxic. In some ways, it's very calculated by other teams, fan nations, and the U.S. sports media to get Raptors fans to turn on one of their most important players. I mean, how do y'all fall for that? Seriously, I'm standing with Quick. I stand with Quick. I wrote a Christmas carol about him on Christmas Day. I believe in Emmanuel quickly. I think that he's amazing. And I stand with him. And I know a lot of people are turning on him, stabbing him in the back right now in Raptors Nation. It's disheartening. It's disheartening. We don't need to do this. He's under contract with us. And whatever anybody says about his contract, well, that's just an opinion. You know, he's going to be fine. And like I said, he's going to grow into this contract. And more people are going to be like, wow, he has actually worth that contract. So, yeah, man, I stand with Quick, man. I'm not fucking around with this shit. And I know that Raptors on the team, well, if they heard me talking on the show and saying this, I stand with Quick amidst all this. He's like, yeah, Raptors Freak's a real one. Because all those guys don't like the fan nation turning on them. You know, it's not right. You guys, we can be so toxic and insulting and demeaning and demoralizing and dehumanizing to our players. And some of the crazy shit people say on social media, calling Fred a midget, calling this and this, saying this and that. You know, stop it. Are you a fan or not? You don't throw your team under the bus. You don't throw your players under the bus like this if you're a true fan for your team. And you know, in some ways, it's like the whole action of the Leaf Nation dumping on their players when they fail and stuff like that. I get it. There's a lot of shared fans in Leaf Nation and Raptors Nation. And that's the action they know from hockey and NHL and stuff like that. Don't bring that shit into our fan nation because we don't need to do this. We can be a supportive, loving fan nation for our team that isn't so critical and dissecting and so like against, you know, because that's the thing that gets the Leafs in the way of the Leafs' success. Is perfection is demanded by Leaf Nation. And that is such a high standard to try and achieve. And then you get in your head mentally, and then you fuck up in the first round every year in the NHL playoffs because the pressure's too high. So why do we want to put this pressure on our Raptors? They're a young squad. They're rebuilding, and they're supposed to make mistakes. And in some ways, they are not supposed to be perfect. And in some ways, you want to nurture a young team like that towards more and more success and not demoralize them and put them down just because you feel a little bit of power and serotonin from that. Ooh, I feel so good. I said this a derogatory thing about Emmanuel on social media. Like, seriously, grow up and either be a fan or don't be a fan. Just tell yourself the truth about who you are really in Raptors Nation. Because if you're a fan, you stand with your team and you support them. If you're a toxic fan or a toxic Raptors Nation person, you criticize and you get glee off being a troll and talking shit and all your other bullshit. See, you can be that. You can be in Raptors Nation, be toxic, and not really be a true fan. I can say that right there. That's it. That's it. That's right, Stargate. That's it. Superfan Mo is in the house. Number one, the greatest superfan Monique Lawrence. Yeah, I'll do a Michael Buffer introduction for her. I can't do it right this second, but you know what I'm saying. Let's get ready to rumble. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Happy game day. Ugly win, 905. Please remember, can't take a team lightly. I'll always tell you, beat the Pacers tonight. That's right. That's right. We can't take Siakam and Rick Carlisle's team lightly. They are on a winning trend right now. They've won their last 3 games, so they're on winning vibes, and they've got some things working right. And I believe the teams they beat were not totally slouches. They actually got some quality wins recently. Let me just see who they beat the last 3 games real quick. They have beaten – why is this loading so slow? They beat Charlotte, Miami, and Boston. That's right. They had that game winner. And this is the crazy thing. 2 of these 3 wins that Indiana's had in the past week were game winners by Siakam, right? He hit the game winner against Charlotte, and he hit the game winner against Boston. So, man, we got to watch Siakam tonight. Scotty, you going to guard Siakam tonight? I love it. Siakam versus Barnes. Let's go. That's right. That's right. So, yeah, in some ways, I want to see a late game block by Scotty on Pascal again tonight. I do. I want to see that. I want to see that. Can that be on my bingo card? Can that be on my bingo card? Can I mark that one off tonight, Scott? Can I mark that off? You got the block on Siakam in the last 2 minutes of the game when he's trying to make that game winner. You come block him, please, please. Yeah, I love that they beat Boston. I'll bet you Indiana beating Boston is part of the reason why Boston fell in the ESPN power rankings. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. All right. Jimmy's saying facts, Daddy Gates. There you go. You guys are spitting facts right now. I love it. I love it. Milbester is talking about baseball, of course. Of course. Let's see. I'll give you the first comment. If you keep going with it, though, I'm stopping. World Baseball Classic is 49 days away. So, I'll be away watching the tournament in March. Goes from March 4th to 17th. But I'll be watching Canada and how they do in Pool A in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The tournament will be best. I heard recently that Freeman has backed out of representing Canada in this tournament, which is too bad because he's a powerful player and a good player to have on the Team Canada roster. So I did hear that Freddie is out for playing for Canada in this. That's all I'm going to say right there. You're going to give best of luck to Canada and the U.S., but you're rooting for the Dominican. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I'll do this. How about this? I'll root for Canada, obviously, and I'll root for Dominican. But hell no, I'm not rooting for the United States right now. I'll root for the people, the real patriots in the streets. But otherwise, everything else American, I am not rooting for at this point. I'll root for the real Americans that are out there fighting to get their country back from a tyrannical, fucked up, crazy-ass motherfucker who's a con artist in the White House right now. That's destroying the White House literally. That's right. That's right. All right. Thank you, Milbester, for your baseball update, even though it's not necessary. Randolph saying, Lex, 905 had me at the edge of my seat last night, but I never lost hope, even when they did the last review, The Heart of a Champion. That's right. That's right, man. That's right. That's totally right. Because, I didn't know, because, I thought that challenge was not going to be won by us. Because initially, the first angle showed Tyreek making contact with him. From that angle, it looked like he hit him. But then when they got the baseline angle, there was a wide gap of space between them. And he reached over his arm and he just hit the ball and made it so he couldn't hit it. It's an amazing play by Tyreek. Very, very controlled and just absolutely exactly the perfect play for what that is. And you saw how hard that was. The man was at the rim when he got to him. The man was already at the rim and could have but Tyreek got it out of there. It was amazing. Wasn't that amazing, Randolph? It was so good, man. Jimmy's saying I'm right. Appreciate that. You're right too, Jimmy. How about that? You're right too. Milbester's saying I haven't watched NBA much because the NFL playoff race during the regular season was really good and the playoffs have been great this year with parity. Why don't you just go and watch both of them? Why are you only on one mode sometimes, Milbester? There's lots of Knicks games you could probably catch while you're watching the NFL too. I don't understand that. I guess maybe you're one-track mind, and you just got to see that. Ava Forrester's saying terrible. Are you saying that just like Charles Barkley? Terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. Is that what you're saying there? Because it only has one R. It looks like terrible. Terrible. Nick Nako's saying Skylar did nothing wrong. Okay, it's because I brought up Breaking Bad with Brian Forte's favorite show. Skylar did nothing wrong. Is that what you're saying, Nako? Is this like a website or something like that? Skylar at some point became complicit with Walter's crimes because she just had to, because she had to protect the family. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Skylar White is such a weird character in the history of TV shows. She's very hated. A lot of people really hated her during that show because they were like, why is she such a bitch? There was a lot of that going on when that show was on TV and it was airing. And in some ways, they've done college courses on the public's reaction to the character Skylar White on Breaking Bad. It's very interesting stuff. So Nako's taking the stand. Skylar did no wrong. Okay. I actually believe that. Yeah, I believe that. Who him? Mom died, not that. I'm sorry about this, ABI. I'm very, very sorry about all that. But I'm glad you're here with us, and we care about you, Avia Forrester. We care about you, okay? Okay. Superfan Mo saying, last day to vote for All-Star. Do your part, Raptors Nation. Yeah, you know what? I've been really touched by how Raptors Nation, since Darko called it out and said, get out there and vote, Canada. And you know what? We've seen gains. We saw Scotty jump in the All-Star results because of this. So you know what? Good job, Canada. You're reacting to this. But as Tim Bontemps said this morning, Scotty's a lock. He's going to make the All-Star team, guys. even if he doesn't get voted in. So, yeah, he's a lock, man. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. But do your part still and vote for Chris Paul for All-Star. Yeah, do that. Vote for Chris Paul. Seriously. Raptors Champs is here. Good morning, Raptors freaks and champs. We are playing my favorite Raptor. It's all love, but I see another Raptor win. Yeah, we love Siakam. Always will. Siakam has such a joy de vie, joy of life. And he's just, man, he's an auteur. He's a Raptors legend. He's a guy who came from nowhere to do something beyond his imagination. He's just an amazing person. It's not just like his talent as a basketball player and what he's done on the court. It's his personality. It's his what he stands for. I love that his PS43 Foundation is so supportive for education and for education for people that are not as privileged and don't have access. He's just man. He's just an amazing human being. Honestly, he's just an amazing human being. We'll always love Siakam here in Toronto, just like Lowry. And Indiana fans, you guys love him too, seriously. And he will be a legend for you guys also. And I have no problem with that, sharing Siakam with the Pacers Nation, because he's just like that. And you guys deserve to have him as a part of your history and showering him with honors too. Because look, he's revived y'all's franchise. He's helped y'all get really far in the playoffs in recent years. And don't get it twisted. He is the big reason why y'all have had some really good years the last 2 years before this one. So, yeah, Siakam forever, man. I'm with you, man. He's one of my favorites forever too, champs. He really is. Mugarbe's back. Good to see Mugarbe. We don't worry about the hospital Pacers. Okay. We don't stop worry about hospital Pacers. Okay. Mugarbe's a big Pascal fan. I know that too from the before. And there's our biggest Siakam fan in the chat right here, the coach, Cool Cat. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Great day for Raptors versus Siakam matchup. This is a night where Cool Cat can't lose. It's like even if the Pacers upset the Raptors tonight, knock on wood, that won't happen. She will be happy and smiling either way. But yeah, because she's a real one for the Raptors, but she's a real one even more so for Mr. Siakam. Yeah, number one Siakam fan right there. It's Cool Cat. But you guys are in a ranking right there. I think Raptors Champs is in that top 5 here also. And I know, yeah, Mugarbe got so mad when we traded him. He for about a year, Mugarbe was like, why did we trade Siakam? Why did we trade Siakam? I remember that. Superfan Mo saying, we don't need John Morant. James, come on now. Yeah, we love you, James. And I like your questions. I do. It's just the trade questions do irk me sometimes because I'm like, let's be happy with our roster. Maybe just get the backup big and boom, watch what we do for the rest of the year. And I love that the journalists in Toronto are starting to come around and saying this team is on the right direction and we're moving in the right way and we're ahead of schedule. That's the other thing Doug Smith's saying this morning is the Raptors are heading in the right direction and they're also ahead of schedule in their rebuild. So this is good stuff right here. There's Isaac Campbell putting the 5-starting lineup of Lex on blast right there. I love it. Kareem saying this, 2 overtime thrillers in less than a week. Raptors building calluses, and it's not too much from porn. What are you doing this? Why do you do this, Kareem? Why do you do this, man? I'm deducting a dunk for doing this. Between the telling me to streak and now you're talking about calluses from porn. What are you doing? What are you doing here, man? Aren't you married? Come on now. All right, you're back to the RJ9. You lost a dunk for that one, man. I'm like, why did you do that? Kareem. He's so funny, man. It's funny even when he loses a dunk. James is saying this, super fan Mo. I doubt it happens. He's probably going to Miami or the Bucks. Well, he's declared publicly that he wants to play for Miami, didn't he? And he fits with them better. You know, Miami's the kind of team that's kind of in the middle of the pack. See, we're up top. We have way more to lose and messing us up. And Miami could use an injection of talent to help boost them up the Eastern Conference more. That makes more sense. And especially if there's a couple players on Miami that they're not too keen on still, you know, maybe Tyler Hero gets traded to Memphis for Ja Morant. But this is a really dangerous thing for the same reason it's dangerous for us if we came here for Miami. And Spoelstra, well, he'd have to figure this out. You know, he'd have to figure this out. But Ja has very publicly said his favorite team to go to is the Miami Heat. He said that. And, well, would they do that? He's kind of got a Miami Heat feel to him, Ja Morant. I say send him there because honestly, he's more likely to make them worse than actually help them. Seriously, I don't want to have to worry about Miami as bad anymore. So go ahead and send John Morant to Miami. We did beat them already a bunch already this year, and I don't know if we're playing them a whole lot for the rest of the year. So let's see. Superfan Mo saying 9-1 in the regular season. That's right, 9-1 in the regular season of the G League, but 23-2 for the whole entire span of what Andrew Jones and them have been doing since last October. 23-2. They've only lost 2 games, and one of them was that championship game at the Winter Showcase Cup against Salt Lake City. That's it, man. They got a loss to the San Diego Clippers, and that's it. That is it right there. Jimmy's saying, if we're worried about spacing, Ja's shooting 20% from 3. I don't want him. So he doesn't even help with one of our biggest weaknesses. I mean, I would say this, like, guys, if you really want to get such a superstar, get that one of these really good dead-eye three-point shooters. Maybe Trae Young. No, we don't need him for the defensive liability, but his three-point shooting, we might need him for that because we are shooting very bad from 3 as a team right now. So at least if we're going to make these trades, these crazy superstar trades, let's get somebody that's like a superstar for three-point shooting that would help us with that. I don't know. Either way, I don't want the trade, but I'm just saying, at least make it make more sense like that, right? Make it make more sense like that. Trevor's saying this. Remember when everyone was talking about Scotty's preseason game? Look at him now. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want people to give up on quickly so fast. It's because they go through things and they're maturing and they're growing and they're developing and they go through growing pains. And sometimes you can give up on a player too soon and you trade them, and then all of a sudden they blow up through those growing pains after they've left. And that can be a problem because you're like, whoa, wait a second. This player is this all of a sudden. I mean, think about RJ. RJ's kind of doing this to the Knicks right now. The Knicks gave up on RJ and sent him to us. And now RJ's flaws are getting covered up, and he's becoming a very good all-around player on both ends of the court as far as he's a defender now. And he's absolutely shooting better, and he's more efficient. All the things that Knicks fans complain about RJ Barrett have changed, and he's not doing any of them anymore. And that's part of the reason why they're so upset about it. And, Emmanuel has the same arc coming. It's just that he's a little bit delayed behind RJ. He's younger than him, right? I think they're about the same age. But either way, Emmanuel is going to hit in a way that's going to go better and more consistent. And everybody will be like, wow, I'm glad we didn't give up on Emmanuel and he's still in Raptor. I'm telling you right now, that's going to happen. If you don't believe me, watch. It's going to come. And I'd like it to be in a Raptors red jersey and not in another jersey because we gave up on him too soon. He's in the lot with us, and he's got accumulated work with us already. He's got familiarity with our guys. And once again, every time you shuffle up the cards and deal somebody out and deal somebody new in, you have to restart chemistry with that new person. And that's a whole other thing. Like Brandon's building chemistry with us this year. He's very early in it. And there could be all kinds of great new stuff that happens as he gets more familiar with his Raptors teammates. He can get into more levels of helping us win because he's more familiar with their spots and their tendencies and what they like to do. That's why its trade mentality is so dumb, is because the NBA in the heyday of the 80s and 90s, all these teams were static. There was no movement. You had your nucleus with Boston. You had your nucleus with Detroit. You had your nucleus with Chicago. And nobody was getting traded every which way. You kept guys as much as possible. Maybe you made a deal like, okay, you're out, Horace Grant. We're getting Dennis Rodman instead. Maybe you did shit like that. But for the most part, you kept nucleuses not together for like 2 or 3 years. For like 8 years, you'd have guys, the same starting 5 on a lot of the teams in the NBA. It's just a weird phenomenon of the flux and everything moving around so much. It's more in free agency, more empowerment to the players in some ways, which is good. But also at the same time, it's like those teams and those identities and those chemistries were built on those very good teams like Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and all them, like Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah Thomas, Vinnie Johnson, James Edwards, and John Sally. That like these teams, that's what I'm saying. Karl Malone, Stockton, Mark Eaton, Thurl Bailey. These teams, you put them together, you leave them together so they could cook. Because if you switch them up too much, you change the ingredients too much, they don't taste right. It changes. And then you have to restart with the chemistry buildup. That's why I hate all this trade talk. Because it's like you're telling me you want to start over is what you're telling me. You're telling me you want to put some new part in our team and we have to start over with it. Because every time you bring in a big piece, you're starting over to a degree. And I like the direction we're going in. I don't want to start over right now. Let's keep going. Let's keep going down this trail that we're going down right now. That's right. Remember what Scotty looked like at preseason and how social media was acting out talking about Scotty Barnes. Well, look at him now. Look at him now. That's right, Trevor J. Look at him now. That's right. Kareem saying this. We need to be careful tonight. The Pacers on a 3-game winning streak, and our winning streak starts today. 25 wins by mid-January. Who would have thought? Raptors doing everything right. Yeah. Yeah, I want to get 25 wins tonight, and we should. We should. Look, the Pacers have won 3 games in a row. That's fantastic. They got Darko Dinner, right? That's Darko Dinner. 3 games, a 3-game win streak was Darko Dinner back in the day. Well, sorry, you got your Darko Dinner. Back to L's, Pascal. Sorry, my guy. Sorry, my guy. It's just got to be that way. We got to do this because we have our own agenda with the Toronto Raptors. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Kareem's also saying Dick's going to drop 15 tonight with only 2 3-point attempts. I don't know. I'd love to see Grady have a good game. This is actually a matchup where Grady could be showcased and do pretty well. The Pacers team, there's a lot of guys on the other side that he could match up and play okay and back and forth both ends of the court. I would love to see Grady come out there and get some good feelings and get some good things going for himself. Because, man, I don't want him down in the doldrums. We need you the most powerful dick you can be, Grady. So grow. That's right. All right. Why did I do that? I do not try to do those cheap, low-hanging fruit Grady jokes, but I did just now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We need you to get back up, okay? Do we have any blue pills? Can we give a blue pill to Grady before the game? Seriously. Just a little enhancement. All right, let's see. Raptors Champs is saying, if IQ gets traded, I would not want Morant, especially at the fact that his stats today are worse than IQ. IQ is currently more efficient. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. And also, once again, the most important ability is availability. And John Morant has been shown to be in and out of the lineup for whatever reason over his years in the NBA. And IQ, he was hurt last year and he kind of got a bad reputation just from last year. But I will tell you right now, last year was the most injured Emmanuel's ever been in his whole entire basketball career. And has he been missing games this year? No. So last year is an aberration. Anybody who thinks Emmanuel gets hurt all the time, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. He does not. He's usually available for us to play. And last year was just a really weird case that was not normal in that way. So don't remember him for that. Seriously. Don't remember him for that. Kareem's saying, I bet John Morant has an impeccable gun collection. It's crazy because his dad is 10 times worse. His drunk dad who craves attention sitting courtside is in the sideshow we want at Scotiabank. Save that for the dance back. Oh, my gosh. Kareem, you're hilarious, man. I don't even know how to deal with this comment. In some ways, it's like, this is wild what he's saying here. All right, first of all, you're going at T. Morant, which is okay. We'll allow it. But what is he going to do to the dance back? I'm wondering what you mean by that. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I would agree with this. Like, I don't want T. Morant sitting down there with Glorilla and Donald Ingram and causing a scene at courtside. Seriously, because that's where he'd be. Maybe he'd say something inappropriate to Glorilla, and then all of a sudden we have team problems because Ja and Brandon are not getting along. I mean, that could happen. Seriously? Think about it. T. Morant could say something off color towards Glorilla, and then all of a sudden Brandon Ingram's beefing with Ja Morant within our team. I'm just saying, this is a plausible situation that could happen. Isaac's saying, dunk at Trevor. Dunk at Trevor? Sure, we can do that. Isaac's going to give a dunk to the Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J. I love that. I love that. There's an assist by Isaac right there. All right, boom, goes the dynamite. You got the RJ9, Trevor J. You got the RJ9, my guy. You got the real one right there. That's right. That's right. Dunk at Trevor. Superfan Mo saying call 5 all fucking day. James, stop it now. All right, there you go. Monique's getting a dunk too. Call 5 every day. Every day you call 5. That's right. That's right. Superfan Mo has declared this. Every day you call 5. That's right. Where's Monique? We got to give Monique a dunk now. That's right. She's getting a dunk for this one. That's our first dunk of the year. You got the notorious BI3, Monique. There you go. You got that BI3 right there. Boom goes the dynamite. That's right. Blackhawk's got the mystery man with the mustache. I always think of that icon. That looks like the old disguises when you're a kid. The like mustache, the big nose, and the glasses and the eyebrows. That's what that looks like to me. That's interesting. James saying talent wise, it shouldn't even be a debate. Ja over IQ. Sure. I won't disagree with that. That's true, but that doesn't mean you're a better NBA player. That's the thing that everybody forgets in the NBA. Talent only gets you so far. Discipline, attitude, availability. Those things sometimes matter more than talent. And this league is moving more and more towards those other things mattering more than talent. This whole entire world of basketball is getting more and more talented every year. And sometimes talent isn't just even enough. It used to be enough in the NBA. They just wanted to find people that could dunk, somebody who had a vert. That's kind of what they wanted, maybe some ball handling skills. Now everybody's got everything, and it's not just talent anymore. It's a very skilled league. You got to be a good person. You got to be a person that is disciplined and hardworking. If you come to the NBA and you're just talented and you're coasting on your talent just to get a bag and live the lifestyle, well, they're going to find you out and they're going to get rid of you, because this league is not for Ben Simmons anymore. This league is not for Zion Williamson anymore. This league is not for Ja Morant anymore. And there's more and more talk by NBA insiders saying that NBA franchises are pivoting away from problem, toxic players like the ones I just named, and they are trying to get the right players, because there's so many players out there now that they can get all of them in the same category. I can get talent, dedication, IQ, smarts, health, strength. You can get it all in players now. You could be the most talented player in the world, but you're a jerk and you're an asshole, and the NBA is telling you no. Do you know how many guys can dunk so good that are just on playground courts that never ever got near the NBA? There's probably a guy just like Ja Morant somewhere in the United States that never got near the NBA because he was a knucklehead and because he was distracted and he got into other things in his life. There's probably somebody just as talented as Ja Morant in the United States that's unknown and never ever got that path because he got in the way of himself. And I'm just saying, Ja Morant is more similar to that guy than the players in the league that are doing things right. I'm just saying. Talent can only get you so far. And I will agree with you. Ja is more talented than IQ. But that's even more of a testament to say, wow, I like IQ even better because he has better stats. And that is true. That is true what they said earlier. That's right. Jimmy's saying Ja has shown he's not a winning player. If anything, he's shown he's a cancer in the locker room. Not to mention he doesn't fit with what we need at all. That's totally true. All of that. And I'm just saying, man, he's more likely to bust up the good vibes that we have on this team. I know some people are pointing to the Memphis vibes they had a couple years ago, but I think part of that was Dylan. I think part of that was Darko. And I think that Ja was not necessarily the center of the vibes on that team. I think that stuff that they were doing in the entryway and the feelings and how they were winning at the time, that's way more to do with Dylan Brooks and maybe even possibly Darko Rajakovic's coaching style and how he gets people to connect and bond. Seriously, that shit went out the window when both those guys left. When Dylan was gone, a whole identity of the Memphis Grizzlies went. Not Ja Morant. Ja Morant's not the identity of the Grizzlies. Dylan Brooks was a couple years ago. And the whole chemistry and vibes and Riz and the way that the Grizzlies were feeling so cool and loose, that was partly Darko's influence as the coach. And now we have that on our team. And I'm telling you, man, we don't need Ja Morant to come in and mess up our vibes. Seriously. I don't need Garrett Temple cussing out Ja Morant at 3 a.m. because there's some problem with the team all of a sudden. Seriously. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. Just joining the stream and see all those trade IQ talks. I'm not on board. I think most of us are here. If there are a few people that are all about trading IQ, they're in the minority on this channel. They just are. I'm riding with IQ. I stand with him. And I know he's going to come through right. I trust Emmanuel, and I trust that he's going to come through in the right ways for us when it all is said and done. That's how I feel about this, man. I do. One extra emoji to complete the IQ 5. There you go. You got to put all 5 of them in there. Call 5. That's right. Cream saying, don't worry, Fiercey. It's not a ship to board with the talks about training IQ. Whoever wants that to happen is in the middle of an ocean with a kayak and no life jacket. These are really weird, like metaphors and things that Kareem's putting out today. You're all over the place with this stuff, man. It's crazy. Trevor's saying we need a Ja Rasta, not a Morant. That's funny right there. Kareem saying like a Ja monkey. If you know, you know. I don't know. I don't know that one. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good to see Shaq Lindsay. Thank you for supporting the channel. Ja would be nice if he could shoot threes, if he was a team player, if he wasn't a distraction on and off the court, and if his highlights were about winning plays on defense, then maybe I would say yes. Wow, that's a lot of ifs, Shaq Lindsay. So I'm guessing no. He's not any of those things. That's right. Jimmy saying to see a good chunk of our fan base spew so much division saddens me. They are really coming off spoiled and ungrateful. We were a lottery team last year, and we have made a big leap. Be grateful. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Totally with you on that, Jimmy. I wish people would keep that perspective. Darko won 25 games the first year of his coaching, and well, we're about to win 25 games tonight, halfway through the season. I think that's progress, guys. The fact that the Raptors in the first year of Rajakovic, after Nick screwed up our team, won 25 games, then he won 30 last year, and now we already have 25 almost tonight. That really shows the progress right there, and the needle push that Brandon was to help our team, and the needle push that we're getting from the continued growth of our young stars like Scotty and RJ and other players on our team. So this is it right here, Jimmy. This is it. Smart Towel RG 400 is here. Thank you for the subscription. The 905 are so good this year. They really are. They really are. They were pretty good last year too, but not the same way. This is like even more overpowering. I really got to give a lot of credit to Luke Wynn. Seriously, the way he actually put some thought into constructing the 905's roster this year. Often with 905, when we come into the season, I'm like, this roster doesn't make any sense. I would say the whole 2 years of Eric Curry, a lot of the stuff with the 905 roster didn't totally make sense. And I was like, what is this? Why do we have so many of this type of player? And we totally lack this kind of role on our team. The roster building for 905 in recent years was not that great, but this year, incredibly good. Like Luke Wynn has made a team that doesn't have any holes. And even when the two ways and Jonathan leave, they're still holding the fort and doing exactly what they did last night. They are amazing, Smart Towel. And you don't have to be talking towel on South Park to see that. No, you don't, Towley. That's right. No, you don't. Superfan Mo saying in reference to the 905 game, can't take a team lightly, too. I think you get too excited in the 905 chat. No, I think that, listen, Birmingham got embarrassed on Sunday night. That this was one of those soul-sucking losses where literally we beat them so bad they had low confidence and they were missing shots and they were just really it was sad. It really was like we sucked the soul out of them, not just beat them, not just routed them. We killed their souls. So in some ways, Birmingham squadron was circling back just like Philadelphia on Monday night to come get us because they had a lot of motivation after being embarrassed on Sunday. So that's a lot of the setup for why the squadron played way better last night. Is they had revenge on their minds. They had that James round, the big payback going on in their heads. Yeah, that's a fact. And that's part of it. That's a really big part of it, Monique. And we got to understand, like, I don't care about records in the NBA, just like with Pacers tonight. Every single competitor you take on the court, whether it's in NBA or G League, you've got to take seriously. And you have to be professional. And you have to come out there and treat every game seriously. That's the most important thing as a professional basketball player. And the Raptors 905, to their credit, weathered the storm of the squadron coming at them with all that revenge energy and still got a 1-point victory and an Elam ending overtime. That's amazing, seriously, by the skin of their teeth. And in some ways, it's very mirroring the Raptors overtime win on Sunday. Yeah, in some ways, it is. Some important challenges at the end of the game for both Coach Rajakovic and Jones in these two games that we're talking about. That's right, man. You can't take any team lightly because they all have the potential to get hot and make shots and outplay you. So you need to beat them. You need to be the team that beats them. That's right. Fiercely saying Pacers have been doing good the past 3 games without key players, so we need to remain focused. That's right. I love that they beat Boston, and that's a signal there. The last game they played, they beat Boston with a buzzer beater. Woo-wee! I love that. Good job, Siakam. No beating us, though. So proud of Scotty. Yes, we are proud of our Scotty Barnes. Kareem saying Skylar cheated on Mr. White. He did everything he was supposed to do to protect his family. Man got a better paying job as a cook. That's one perspective of looking at it. What she did with her friend, what was his name? I forget what his name is. The guy that owned the company that she used to work for. That's the kind of thing where, like, she's mad at Walter for having secrets and hiding things from her that she's getting back at him by doing that. And I mean, I get that. I get that. That infidelity is awful. But in her mind, that was like an equalizer for him lying about being a meth king. I don't know. Anyway, we're breaking down Breaking Bad on here for some reason today. And I guess we got some people that are pro Skyler, like Gerald, and Kareem's like, nah, man, she was wrong for that. Okay, I see what you're all saying. Y'all are saying here. Fiercely saying, despite us being down bad against the Sixers, the crowd was respectful to the team. Yesterday, Bucks fans booing their team was not cool. So kudos to Raptors Nation. We've done this in the past, guys. Like, Raptors Nation has booed our own team on our court. And at the time, I kind of was like, yeah, they deserve that because the effort was so poor. I mean, I get that. I get that. If I was a Bucks fan right now with the season, the way it was sold to me that it was going to be so great and how we see it, I would be upset too. I mean, I'm not going to totally judge them for that because honestly, if they're booing, they're not necessarily booing the players, they're booing the front office for putting the stale ass horrible product around Giannis that they put out there this year with that team they built. As much as Luke Wynn built an amazing team for the Raptors 905, the Milwaukee Bucks have built a horrible team around Giannis Antetokounmpo. And if I was a Bucks fan, I would be pissed off too. So I can't blame them for booing. In some ways, that's a boo for the front office, not necessarily for the players. Seriously. Shaq Lindsay saying, but at the end of the day, Ja is a product of the inflated ego of the NBA. They hyped him up, giving him shoe endorsement deals, commercials saying he's the face of the NBA, only to not live up to this. That's why I caution Adam Silver and the NBA hierarchy to not preemptively deem people faces of the league. Don't make people golden boys for your league. You need to find out who these people are from what they do on the court, and they earn it. You got to see somebody like SGA, who has a good head on his shoulders, who had a similar entry into the NBA like Ja. And in some ways, maybe y'all were pumping Ja more because he's the American and SGA is the Canadian. But when you look at the both of them, who's the more dependable, better face of the league? It's the Canadian guy because he's not going to flake out. He is already a champion and MVP. And in some ways, the marketing around Shea should have been around him more than John Morant in the years past. That's what I'm saying. You don't give it to people ahead of time. You got to give it to them after they've done it. And when they've done it and they've proven I'm a face of this league, then you can have it more concretely make sense. In some ways, that's how you've cheapened the brand of the NBA is you try to preordain golden boys and faces of the league before they actually arrived. And when they flaked out, well, it made your brand look bad because it made it look like, oh, this is supposed to be this guy and this and this. They've marketed him as this, but he's really this. That's the mistake that Adam Silver's made this whole time is that he's trying to manufacture stars before they're stars. And you have to actually have the star compete at the level and have the accolades and do the stuff to earn it first. That's why in some ways, look, you could have been making Jason Tatum a golden boy for years and years, but in some ways you really shouldn't have been marketing him as that until they won the championship in Boston in recent years. Seriously. It's like get ahead of yourself and you get a Ben Simmons. You get a Ben Simmons. You get a what was his name? I don't even remember some of these guys' names they were pumping at us as being so important and so good in the league. That's what I'm saying. Don't get ahead of it, Adam Silver, and let it naturally happen. And honestly, you may find that you may be needing to put more advertising and face the league stuff around people like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Scotty Barnes, even like that. Seriously, because these are good stars. These are good people for you to market this league around. But you don't want to? You'd rather put it on Ja Morant? Okay, well, that's your fault. And that's how you devalue your own company. Seriously, by doing something like that. That's right. That's right. Super fans saying this. You always say get the win, 905, Lex. Hang on, it jumped ahead. I want to make sure I don't miss this. Get the win, 905, but it ain't always going to be easy. I have confidence in the Raptors and the Raptors 905 this year because of the way they are. I don't care how far they are and down in the score. I don't care how bad it looks. For some reason, the Raptors are just like that. They're just this crazy talented team that will scrap and make magic happen, like Sunday night. In some ways, my mentality is part of the reason why the Raptors won that game by 1 point against Philadelphia in overtime on Sunday night. Because it's like you never quit. You never say die. You never count yourself out. You always believe, even if it sounds crazy and delusional, that you can win the game. And that energy is absolutely what carried us to the victory over the Sixers on Sunday night. And it's the energy that carried the 905 to the win last night, too. Just at the darkest moment of the game, when it seems like the other team's just about to beat you because they have every chance, and the probabilities actually favor that team beating you. But somehow, some way, you make it through the slim side of the odds and you get it. That's a beautiful thing, man. And that's why I blindly trust the Raptors, no matter what the score is, that they're going to put a good effort in and compete and try and steal games, even if it seems like they have no business winning them. That's why, right there, Mo. I believe. I'm always going to believe. And you're right. Nothing is easy in the NBA. They all have to work hard, every opponent, whether it's Oklahoma City or Indiana. That's right. And those are the two teams that were in the finals last year. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying this: getting Ja is the equivalent to having Drake on the sideline. All hype, no action. Woohoo! I like that one. Shaq Lindsay, you're getting a dunk for that. That's a good one because you're dunking on Aubrey. And I love that. I love that to an extent. I really do. All right. Member of the channel, Shaq Lindsay, you are at the Vince Carter 15, my guy. Wow, you're one of the dunk leaders so far this year. That's pretty good. You're up there, man. Mr. Quasimodo's in the house. Let's see what he's saying. We have a problem with selective memory. Watch all the games, and you'll see how foolish these trade talks are. I really do feel like, once again, these are desperation Hail Mary lobs by other people around the NBA that hate the Raptors. They see good things developing with us. They see we're on the right track, and they're trying to cause more confusion by just flooding social media with disinformation, misinformation, and idiotic opinions. And sadly, some people in Raptors Nation who don't want to think for themselves get behind some of this stuff and start parroting it and pushing it around more and more. I want y'all to think for yourself. I want y'all to really, if you really truly love the Raptors, you don't have to listen to me. You can listen to whatever your heart, you can listen to your mind. Just think about whether something's good or not for the team and just really be critical thinking about it. And that a lot of people are going to put out opinions because everybody can put out opinion on social media now, and a lot of them will be jackasses about it. So just realize there's a lot of energy out there that isn't even us that we see, and it shouldn't be credited to us, real Raptors fans. It should be credited to the noise in Raptors Nation. Those distinctions are very important at this point because Raptors Nation is not just fans, it's trolls, it's fake people that are not for us, that are infiltrating. And the fans are in the nation too. But you can be in Raptors Nation and not be for the Raptors. Just think about that concept right there. That's part of it right there, Mr. Quasimodo. That's part of it. Shaq Lindsay saying fair, but what about now? Drake only shows up when we're winning. Actually, I've noticed a trend that Drake does not show up hardly at all at this point. That since he got banned from the broadcast for his out of touch comments about DeMar DeRozan, he has not been showing up regularly. I think I've seen him since that incident at a Raptors game maybe 3 times. And that's over like a year and a half now because it was all last year and this year. The only times I've seen him, he came to one game against Charlotte because Adonis loves LaMelo, and he came to the game with his son and watched it. But they didn't even stay the whole game. They left at halftime, and they didn't stay for the second half. And I think I've seen him. He came for a Phoenix game last year when Kevin was still on Phoenix because he's such good friends with Durant that he went to that game. I can't remember most of the games that he's not been sitting in his seats. He has not been there for the most part. And that's fine with me. Seriously, that's fine with me. The more we kind of move away from his involvement in our team, I actually think that's good. Seriously. I don't mind if he's behind the scenes and if he wants to be helping us with our style, because I felt like the OVO style for the Raptors has been very good. And in some ways, he's done his job. He's made it attractive and given us a celebrity kind of a connection where people like Jamal Shed did think Toronto was more attractive because of Aubrey. He loves Drake. Jamal Shed absolutely loves Drake. It's amazing. You can hear these different Raptors, whether it's Fred on his Unguarded podcast, whether it's Jameson Battle, they're all saying they love Drake. Like these dudes actually listen to them. And like Fred really, his favorite artist was Drake before he came to Toronto. And then he got to become friends with him. So that is really a draw in some ways to get players to come here. Drake's a connection to us. It was very helpful. So as much as I slag Drake for him dissing DeMar and saying what he would do to his jersey retirement, he has been helpful in net for our team, even if he's been a flaky ass fan for us too. I mean, I do believe that. I believe that can all be true. That can all be true. Fiercely saying the crowd chanting for Kyle Lowry to play and giving him a standing ovation was way more organic than Vince Carter's jersey retirement, in my opinion. You could genuinely feel the love and respect for Kyle. Yeah, and I'm gonna say this right now. In the future, when we get these moments for Kyle, for DeMar, for Pascal, for Fred, they are gonna be amazing. You guys are gonna see it. It's gonna feel a lot different. You're gonna see it. And you're right. In some ways, the Vince thing was forced and it wasn't totally natural. It wasn't totally natural and organic. Some people say, what do you mean it was a natural organic? Yeah, if you understand, you understand. Now with these guys, it's going to be so pure. It's going to be so pure. It will definitely be pure. Fiercely, that's a great comment. I'm going to give you a dunk because I believe that you're right. I believe that you're right. That there's something so pure, the love shared between some of our groats and the city of Toronto and the Raptors fan base. That's right. You are the Vince Carter 15 now, Fiercely. You got the Vince. That's how apropos. You got the 15. Fiercely say Jalen Duren has been injured for a week. He's on my fantasy team. Does our up great numbers when healthy. So he's been good this year. It's just, I don't see him as an all-star. It used to be in the past to be an all-star, you'd have to be like a scorer kind of guy and not necessarily a big that's more known for rebounding and defense. There are guys like that that have gotten all-stars in the history of the all-star. But for the most part, an all-star is like a star kind of guy. And I just don't see Jalen Duren as like a star. Is he a star? Like, is he a star? That's what I'm wondering. He's not really a star. He's a big man. And like maybe their second best player on their team, but does he deserve to be an all-star? It's similar to me like with Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't think that he's a star either. Like he shouldn't have been an all-star. JJJ, like to me, he's just not a star. Like he doesn't have star vibes. Does that make sense to you guys? Like seriously, there's been all-stars like this in the past where I'm like, wow, that guy was an all-star. I hate to say it, even our big cat, our assistant coach, Jamal McGlure, when he made the all-star, it's kind of like, is he really an all-star? Like, I hate to say that because then somebody's that's shading our community ambassador, Jamal McGlure. But there always are kind of like these weird all-stars, and you're like, really? Is this an all-star? Jared Allen? He's a star? He's an all-star? What is this? That's how I feel about Jalen Duren. It's a little bit like Jared Allen getting it in the recent years too. Jimmy's got that. He's all about that. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Fam, if it makes you feel better, our shooting wasn't great on Monday, but Lakers coach JJ Redick publicly called them out at presser 2 days ago. Their shooting is apparently horrible. Was 22%. Well, we beat that. We got 16%. Yeah, we win. G said this: Nets and Harden, Durant and Kyrie, talent overload and could win. Personality clashes, and egos couldn't make it work. Exactly. The super teams that have been successful have been rare. The LeBron one in Miami, that made sense because, first of all, Dwayne Wade had already been the man for Miami for a while, and LeBron came in, and Dwayne was fine with letting LeBron be the dude, and that was all kind of worked out. And then Chris was definitely the third banana. And when he showed up from us, that all worked because it all worked and it was all sorted out. The big three in Boston when they won with Doc, that was all sorted out to a degree. But even then, it wasn't totally because there were bad vibes between Ray Allen and a couple other people too. It's really tough to balance those egos. And, when the Lakers try to do this shit with Shaq and Steve Nash and all this stuff, it completely fell on its face. When the Nets try to do this shit, it fell on its face. That's the thing. In some ways, on the down low, we could say what we're doing now is kind of like a superstar build with the three big guys on our team and Brandon, RJ, and Scotty. And that in some ways, their egos are fitting and it's actually working. But you could make an argument that those guys are actually a superstar three that are kind of like what we've just described with those. Some people will laugh at me. Oh, you think they're like Bosh, Wade, and James? What are you? You're crazy? No, I'm not. I think that those are superstar players, and all three of those guys are all-stars, and they're top-level players. And in some ways, on the down low, the Raptors have a superstar team already because of Brandon, Scotty, and RJ Barrett. And we see how they seamlessly work and fit together, and there's no stepping on toes. And honestly, that's RJ's ego checking at the door. That's Scotty's unselfishness and the way he plays. And that's understanding who Brandon Ingram is and his talent and respecting that and allowing him to do that. And then also Brandon being a humble leader in that role also. That's how that all works and how that is working for us right now. So I would say that I'd make the argument that in some ways the Raptors are already a superstar team right now, and we're sleeping on that as a nation already. Right there, that's right. Neil's saying this: the goal is to get to the playoffs, not the play-in. So we're ahead of where we were predicted at the beginning of the season. Yes, some people predicted that. Not this guy. This guy called it right here. I say top four in the Eastern Conference. A lot of people laughed at me last summer when I did Eastern Conference predictions. And I said the Raptors are going to be in the top four with New York and Cleveland. Those are the teams, and Detroit. I thought those would be the top four teams, but I didn't realize Boston would be up there instead of Cleveland. And I was right on all the other stuff. I said Milwaukee's going to be at the bottom. Indiana's going to be at the bottom. Atlanta's not going to be that great. Everybody's saying Atlanta's going to be so good. I'm just saying I was the one person that I know of in Raptors Nation or on content creating anywhere in the United States or Canada that was actually calling the Raptors to be a top four team in the East for this season. I don't know, man. I got credibility because it comes through quite often what I'm saying in my predictions. So yeah, they may have said that. I never thought we were a play-in team. I thought we were a straight up playoff team, if not a home court playoff team. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's right. Fiercely saying Joe Mazzulla answering every question by saying illegal screen. That was so weird, uncomfortable, and funny at the same time. He's so weird and salty. Yeah, I heard about that. Once again, I'm not Celtics freak. I don't care about this. It's kind of hilarious that he did that. I guess he had a beef with a play that was an illegal scream. I did not investigate this or learn anything about this because I don't study the Celtics. But I saw some headline about it or something like that. That's all. Kaloy saying, morning, everyone. Going to be positive moving forward. Yak's going to be healthy. Yak. Yeah, Dick's going to find the hole consistently. All right. I see what you did there. We're going to have 2 All-Stars, and BI's going to pass when doubled. I love this. All right, Kaloy, you're getting this. I mean, this is what we did yesterday, where I was like, man, just have a positive mindset, and we're going to speak good things into existence. And we're going to see if this experiment works, right? Kaloy, you're getting your first dunk. Look at that. You're already winning. You got the notorious BI3 from turning the other cheek and having a positive mindset. I'm telling you, man, I'm finding new levels of positivity in my life because I'm thinking positive about outcomes on a bigger and smaller scale in my life right now. And I'm seeing results instantaneously right now. It's amazing, guys. Seriously. The power of positivity is real. So live in that sphere of the world, not in the negative side. The more you can orient your mind to think positively, the more blessings will appear. Just trust me. Just trust me. I know it. I know it personally. Superfan Mo saying W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Cruise strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. I appreciate that. Let's lock in, Raptors. Guys, the straight goods on Canadian goods. This one's so important, especially with what I was talking about earlier. You know, in the United States, they're suppressing coverage of the crowds that are getting out in protest of ICE. They do not want to reveal just how unpopular what Trump and ICE is doing right now, so that the mainstream media that's owned by corporations will not show it, because these are the donors for Trump, and they're all in cahoots, the corporate media, and the corporate media is not telling the truth to the American people. In fact, they're brainwashing them against their own interests. Now, here in Canada, we have a situation where a lot of our media is actually owned by U.S. corporations. I don't know if you guys know that. Like the Globe and Mail, Global, a lot of the different TV channels and the newspapers are all owned by American companies. And because they are propaganda machines at this point, they are not covering certain things, and they are covering things to brainwash people also. And we have to be aware of this. So one of the most important things in an institution in Canada that we need to protect is the CBC. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is the most pure Canadian news source in the country of Canada at this moment. And we need to keep the CBC funded and alive, because if we don't do this, we may be at risk of not having a proper news source in our country that is not diluted by American interests from corporations in that country down there. I have a personal connection to the CBC because my grandfather worked there for a long time as a set designer and carpenter. He worked there, and he worked on shows like The Polka Dot Door and The Friendly Giant, building their sets and doing stuff like that. And this is a plaque I want to share with you guys that my grandfather got from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation for 25 years of service working for them. And I'm just saying, this is so important because listen, the American people are being lied to. The American people are being brainwashed by the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, a huge donor and owner of Amazon, totally in the pocket with Trump. And we got to understand that information is important and information can be powerful and it can shape people's minds and how they believe and see the world. So we cannot just dive into the news sources that are around us as they were before because it's all changing. And their motivations for being lying to us are more greater than ever. So the mainstream media is not to be trusted. CBC is still, because it is purely a Canadian company, a Canadian entity, and it is one of the only pure Canadian news sources in our country at this point. So be aware of this. Most of the news in Canada comes from the United States, and they're shaping it in some ways. This is kind of like it's like a information war. It's intelligence war. And in some ways, they will try and shape Canadians' opinions on whether it's in Alberta about separating and joining the U.S., whether it's on you should be supporting more right-wing candidates up here and getting behind the PC government. You know, the Globe and Mail, all these different newspapers are not to be trusted. If you see articles in the Globe and Mail, don't think that's a Canadian source. That's an American source. And we need to be all cognizant and aware of our media sources and where the information in our country comes from. And a lot of it does come from American corporations. So the one true Canadian entity is the CBC. In honor of my grandfather who fought in World War II against the Nazis and the Russians, and then came to this country as an immigrant to Canada and started a life with his wife and kids and became a set designer and carpenter at the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and had a long, great career in that profession. And, you know, he fought for his freedom against fascists like Trump and Hitler. And he came to a country called Canada and found freedom and built a beautiful life here. And he had a grandson that's me. So let's keep this all in perspective and understand that the corporate entities of the United States are evil and they're fucked up and they're trying to run this world through Trump as a puppet, weird ass motherfucker. And in some ways, we got to have our own pure news source in Canada to protect our sovereignty. We will not be our own country if we fall in line too much with the media that is coming over here from the border. So be all aware of this. Seriously, everybody. In fact, some of the people that used to be on this channel got brainwashed by this bullshit already. And I truly do blame American propaganda for turning a lot of people against each other here in Canada in a way that's absolutely not necessary and toxic. It's not PC versus liberal. It's not red versus blue. It's basically, we are Canada. We are one. We stand together. I don't give a shit about politics. You love this country. You want Canada to stay the true north, strong and free. Well, we got to get over our differences, Canada. We got to stop pointing fingers at each other and understand the real threat is south of us and it's not within our borders. I will stand with every conservative person that lives near me against the Americans if they're going to try any funny things like they're trying to do with Greenland. And I'd hope most good Canadians, patriotic Canadians, would do that, is what I'd say right there. So very, very important, straight goods on Canadian goods. Understand the CBC is essential. We should protect it. We should fund it because it is an established Canadian source of Canadian news from Canada for Canadians, and all that other shit is tainted. Trust me. All that other shit is tainted. Just trust me on this, man. That's right. That's right. That's right. All right, let's see. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying in the comments this morning, man. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying Raptors record at halfway point of season, 24-25 regular season, 10-31. See, this is a good mile marker to see where we've gotten to. Seriously, 25-26 and 24-17. Beautiful. Beautiful, man. I love that. Criscom's here. Good morning, the great Criscom. He's saying, what up, Raptors freaks? We're going to need to get back into the winning column against the hot Pacers team. Still love you, Pascal. There you go. I love that. I love that, man. Good job, Criscom. Yeah, we got to beat them for sure. And sorry, that's it. And Fiercey's like, the phrasing is off the charts. I know. I need to watch out. Trevor's saying Zach Edey will miss another 6 weeks with an ankle injury. This sucks, man. He's on my fantasy team. And I just got him back recently, and now he's back out again. Oh, man. What's going on, young Zach? We need to get your Boilermaker back out there and all and healthy. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. Fiercely saying, Lex, the illegal screen was from Spicy P. Oh, really? That makes it even more cool. Leading to his winning shot. So I'm really happy about it. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. That's awesome. Kaz is saying 10-4, Lex. I only watch CBC News for Canadian news. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I didn't realize just how much of our media is owned by the United States until like somebody brought that to my attention. Like, most of the newspapers are American owned. And in some ways, like, seriously, this is everything that's going on in the States, you have to look to Russia to understand their mentality through Trump, because Trump is using Putin's playbook. And one of the most important things Putin does is information wars and all kinds of insidious ways that he fucks with the countries around their border in Russia. He's doing propaganda intelligence wars with China. He's doing it with Eastern Europe, and he's trying to get people divided in different areas, whether it's the US versus the EU, whether it's us versus America. That's Putin's role. Is like he wants to destroy the East, and he's using the United States as his weapon right now, which is absolutely crazy that the Americans fell for this shit and they're being used like puppets by Vladimir Putin. Seriously, the real patriots are in the street protesting, and the people that are sucking the dick of Vladimir are the MAGAs. And it's crazy, man. So one of the biggest tools that Vladimir will use is propaganda in neighboring countries. So that's why I say we need to be more cognizant of our news sources here and whether they can be trusted, because this is the playbook of Putin and how he's done things with countries around his sphere of influence. So I'm just saying right there. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying, congrats to your grandfather for his accomplishment, Lex. Recognition is always key. Yeah, he was he was a very popular worker at CBC. The people there loved him, man. He was just a gregarious, happy dude who laughed and just a fun guy, my grandfather. Amazing dude, seriously. And I lost him way too young, man. My grandfather's been gone for 40 years. I was like 10 years old when he died. So, yeah, he's special to me. And I'm glad I've got his plaque here with me, man. I really am. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to get all sentimental real quick. All right, let's keep going. We're almost at 2 hours. We want to finish it up close to 2 hours. Let's see. Mischief saying, even though the Raptors are fourth in the Eastern Conference, fans want quickly traded for John Morant. Raptors are fourth now, but if Raptors get John Morant, Raptors will fall to the play-in. Yeah, I believe what Jay is saying here. Baseman's right. He's going to hit the treadmill, and I'm right about that, and he's right about what he just said. So there you go. There's some things you just know. And one of the things I know is Mischief will be on a treadmill today, and we know that what he said is true also. Kaz is saying CBC made another video yesterday talking about the downward trend of Canadians visiting border towns in the U.S. Like we don't already know the reason. That's part of the thing too, is like the propaganda is trying to teach us, keep coming to the United States, keep coming to the United States. And the truth is nobody is. The stats have shown that Canadians visiting the United States has plummeted this last year in 2025. And they lie to them. They're trying to say that tourism is fine and everything's fine. DeSantis is bragging in Florida. Nobody's not coming here. Florida's always busy. Well, maybe there's some idiots that are going there, but most part, their numbers have declined. And if Trump's fudging his economic numbers to the American people, why wouldn't he fudge the tourism dollars and the income coming from that? He's fudging that. And honestly, if they made it known more how powerful American boycott is around the world, it would be more encouraged and it'd hurt them even more. So part of the propaganda machine is to leave out the truth of how much this is actually hurting the United States economically. Because honestly, if American people knew just how much they're getting fucked over economically by Trump and what they're doing, they'd get even more in the streets. So they're trying to put fires out by lying about everything. And, I've stopped buying all American products up here in Canada. And I'm not coming back. You've lost a customer. You had a lot of Canadians buying American corporate products up here blindly for many years. And a ton of us are doing what I'm doing now. And you're not making more money in Canada. No, you're not. You lost money in Canada, American companies. You did. And Trump can lie and the news can lie all kinds of ways. But the truth is just the truth. And the border towns feel it and they know it. The tourist spots in America, they feel it too. So you can lie, you can act, no, this isn't happening, but the shit is happening. And they won't tell you guys down in the States because it doesn't make mein Führer look good, is what it is right there. It's right there. That's right. Randolph's saying this, Lex, our premier in Quebec just resigned. That's amazing. I don't know anything about that myself. I don't know anything about that, man. Let's see. Kaz is saying, we don't care about you crying American business. Talk to Orange Dummy about it. We ain't never coming back. I don't know. Was there somebody in here? Did you guys block somebody out? I don't see any comment about that. Fun fact, the country of France has more time zones than the country of Russia. That's weird. I don't even understand that comment. France has more time zones than Russia? That doesn't make any sense. That's really weird. That's a really weird non sequitur right there, too. Yeah, yeah. Fiercely saying, couldn't find the Raptors official yearbook for 2024-2025. Was able to order it. So I have the last 5 yearbooks, including the current one with BI on the cover. We'll do the same for the tempo. Yeah, I got that yearbook. I'm trying to figure out where I put it. It's somewhere in the house here. I did buy that at one of the last games I went to. Yeah. All right, let me get on my tabs and get it done. We got like 5 more minutes. But yeah, man, really important Canadian goods right there that I was just talking about, man. Really, really important stuff. And the more we can get the truth out there and actually make people aware of what we're dealing with, the more we can handle things better. Where in the world is Serge Ibaka? Well, he sure is not in the United States. And there still is a major push to change this World Cup from the venues in the United States. This is going to be the real indicator of what I'm talking about when the World Cup games in the United States are attended poorly compared to the Mexican and Canadian games. That'll show it right there. That, if people are going to take a choice between coming to World Cup in the United States, Canada, or Mexico for this thing coming up this year, you're going to see it going crazy here in Canada and in Mexico. And the U.S. games are going to be like weird, and they're going to be economic duds. Watch. I'm telling you right now, where in the world is Serge Ibaka? He's in Morocco, and he is at Africa Cup of Nations soccer tournament. That's where he is. Andrew Jones is putting on blast the game day last night, and there he is after the game telling the guys what I said earlier. You just guys got to believe. At one point, our heads were down, but that's why you don't stop playing. The basketball gods respect multiple efforts. That's what he was saying right there. That's right. Slim Duck. What was he going on about? Let's see. There was something kind of cool on here. Oh, he sees the St. Lucian flag on a screen up above the court. He's really happy about it. So that's cool. Scotty Barnes has got Colin Murray-Boyles' dunk on Peyton Pritchard on blast on his Instagram right now. Jamal Shed, his sister was on a morning breakfast TV show talking about her business, and Jamal's very proud of her. Very, very proud of her. It looks like Jamal's taking a picture with his significant other in one of his Instagram stories. So if you want to see Jamal's girlfriend, you can see Shed's girlfriend on his Instagram right now, Raptor Freaks, if you really want to see that. There's a picture of him with Carl and Murray-Boyles. And, well, these guys are getting a lot of shine as important guys on the Raptors right now. A lot of shine. Remember to vote for your Raptors 905 in the up next game. You can vote as many times as you want. Vote for AJ. Vote for Elijah. Vote for Olivier Sarr. Why not? Why not? Why not? All right, let's see what else. AJ Lawson's putting on blast his game from the other night against Philly and how he did with 14 points the other day. And then there's a clip of him and Sandro doing a game show for Good Life Fitness. And it's actually a pretty funny clip. You guys should watch it. Kia Nurse is the game show host in it. So if you check that out, let's see what else is going on. Fred is talking a lot about football. He's in Chicago Bears fever right now with his Unguarded podcast, talking a lot about playoff football. Milbester, you should check that out. Fred VanVleet's Unguarded. Savannah Hamilton is doing a lot more work for different things. Like she's working for a CBC for Winter Olympics, but she's also a new spokesperson for FanDuel, and I'm kind of annoyed with her for this. She's leaning into the or DraftKings. I'm sorry, whichever one. It's one of them. She's leaning into the sports betting, and she went to the Kansas City Chiefs game, and she's basically being used as an advertiser for DraftKings, and that's fine. She's gonna make a buck, but in some ways, I'm disappointed with her. At least she's doing betting on football and not on basketball. At least that, there's Siakam on his Instagram is showing some highlights of him beating the Celtics with that last second shot. That's so beautiful, man. Derek White on him, dribble between the legs. Go right at him, Siakam. That's right. Do the Siakam spin. That's right. Where is it? Yep, he won. She's looking chill. All right, we'll see you tonight, 43. We'll see you tonight. That's right. And Fred has reposted. This is awesome. Fred VanVleet has reposted Kyle Lowry's ovation in Toronto. I'm telling you guys, it's something that supersedes current teams and everything like that. 2019 championship Raptors. It supersedes current teams and allegiances. I'm sorry, Rockets fans, but Fred's got to show the love that Toronto has for Philadelphia 76er Kyle Lowry. And it's just how it is. And I love that Kyle said, yeah, I'll probably talk to DeMar about this, and Fred will probably call me. He's like going over the people he talks to regularly, and Fred and DeMar are number 1 and 2. Yeah, number 1 and 2. Yeah. Let's see. Kaz is saying, yes, Lex, think about the territories a part of France, not on the mainland. Oh, that's how. Okay. I get it. So you're counting like French New Guinea, stuff like that. Okay, all right. So it's like colonial France, as you're talking about. Okay, I get it. Longstar Bobandi is here, man. Hit up another Raptors 905 game because they had an exciting ending for their game last night. Can be watched even free online with only one loss this season. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I went this year too. I went to a 905 game, the second game of the season. It sat at courtside, and it was one of the most awesome basketball watching experiences I ever had. Being right up in the first row, right on the court, is awesome. It's amazing. And I want to do it again very soon. So maybe we'll find out a Sunday afternoon game coming up in the 905 season still in the next couple months, where we'll do a Raptor Freak get together and go to the game together. But yeah, man, it's so fun, a Long Star. So fun. And unfortunately, they're on the road for the rest of the month of January. And the next home games for 905 at Paramount Fide Food Center will be in February. So, they got to go to Capital City next. They'll play the Go-Go, and they're going to play the Long Island Nets. And then they got another series, and then they'll come back to Toronto. So they're on a month-long road trip, basically, for the whole month of January. And it started with Birmingham games this past week. So, yeah, they'll be back February 5th, I think, is the next home game for the Raptors 905. That's right. He's saying, yeah, I remember seeing you because my name is Brandon. It was nice to see you, man. Hey, man, nice to see you too, bro. Yeah, man. I've been meeting a lot of fans at different games this season and telling them about my channel. And I appreciate people for subscribing. And it's just great to meet more awesome fans of the Raptors whether it's at a Raptors game or a 905 game. Salute to you, Brandon. And thanks for subscribing, and thanks for coming through and interacting with us today. Every single day, 9:30, we're talking Raptors 905, Toronto Tempo, and Canadian basketball, Team Canada basketball, and CBL. I do talk Canadian Elite Basketball League on this channel too. So basically, this is basketball in Canada. We're talking about it on the Raptor Freak channel. So yeah, maybe I'll see you at another game. We'll get this organized, and we'll talk about it on the stream in the next couple weeks. I'm going to look at the calendar today, and I'll probably pinpoint a game in the near future of the Raptors 905, and we'll try and get a RFF get together and get a lot of people down there. That's right. And Fiercey's giving you a welcome to you, Long Star. Awesome. That's right. All right, let me keep going on with my tabs. Let's see if there's any breaking news about the Raptors while I've been on the air. It doesn't look like it. Definitely check out Doug Smith's article this morning on things. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, there is breaking news, guys. 10 minutes ago, Blake Murphy has tweeted that Emmanuel Quickley and Garrett Temple are both questionable with back spasms. Wow, that list is getting longer. This is interesting. I hope Manny plays because in some ways, some of the stuff I said earlier didn't sound right if he's not available tonight all of a sudden. But yeah, that's the latest news from the lineup is that Quickley and Temple are both added to the list. Both of them have back spasms. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. All right, let's do happy birthday, I think, is next, or Raptors Reddit reactions. Do I dare go there? Man, Kyle was so awesome coming through. Raptors are up to top 10 in the ESPN Power Rankings. Somebody posted that there. That's awesome. I love to see that. Yeah, nothing that interesting. This is the last day to vote for the All-Star, and it's triple vote day, guys. So get your votes in. Yeah, this guy has a list just like mine. The guy who posted on Reddit, he's got all 5 Raptors on the East, and then he has Dylan Brooks, Lou Getz, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jamal Murray, and Shaedon Sharpe on the other side. That's awesome, man. That's awesome stuff. All right, let's keep going. There's no birthday today, guys. Absolutely. There's actually no birthday. Get your Yahoo fantasy team set up. I'm behind to Nins right now, but I'm going to catch up with you, Nins. Don't worry. I'm not going to let you get away from me. All right, let's do the classic card. We're on the home stretch. All right, let's see who we get today. Remember, full name answer, and do not get Seagull. And write that full name answer. You get the trivia points. All right, here we go. This is a bit of a throwback. This is a classic, too. All right, here you go, guys. Let's see who remembers this. We had his teammate the other day, so maybe you guys will remember this guy too. I know if Slug Deezy here is here, he'll get it. I bet you Smooth Brown Man would get this right away too. Yeah, let's see. There you go. Kaz is on it. Look at that. Slug Deezy's right behind. Wow, look at that. Kaz jumping on it. Wow, that's right. That is the great Terry Porter. Very historic, important player to the Blazers' history. And in some ways, he's forgotten at this time. You know, everybody remembers Clyde Drexler, but they don't remember the point guard, Terry Porter. And that's awesome, man. Wow, that was educated guess, and you got it. Good job, man. Yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do. Trust your instinct and go for it, and don't delay. If you waffle on what it is, maybe Slug Deezy's getting in there before you. He is for sure. He is for sure. So Kaz will get the classic card of the day. In some ways, I'm gonna say it's 100 points, like the Jimmy Jackson yesterday. It's not a totally difficult card because Terry Porter was a pretty well-known face in the NBA at that time. But Kaz is getting it. That's awesome. 100 points for Kaz on the classic card. Awesome stuff. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. We'll do the rundown really quick. The Raptors injury list just keeps growing, literally while we're on the air. Jacoby is out. RJ is out. Chucky is out. Jakob is out. Sandro is questionable. Emmanuel is questionable. And Garrett Temple is questionable. That is what we're looking at with the Raptors laundry list of injuries right now. And on the Pacers side, Halliburton is out, of course. Obi Toppin is out. Isaiah Jackson is out, and Benedict Mathurin is out. So they have some pretty crucial, important players out on the other side, too. The crew chief today is Brian Forte. He favors the Indiana Pacers. The referee is Nate Green. He has a slight favor for the Raptors, but with the home court advantage, I'm going to say he's even. And Jenna Renault is the third ref. She's 2-0 with the Raptors in her history and 1-1 with the Pacers in her history. So she does technically favor us. So, yeah, there's your ref report and everything right there. That's right. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Let's go Raptors. Raptorize your day. I think the main theme of the words of wisdom today is what you put out, you get. If you're going to put out good vibes and goodness and happiness and light, hopefully that's what you get back. And if you're going to put out darkness and awfulness and just subjugating people, mistreating people, well, hopefully that's what you get also. Somebody said this once, the way you treat animals is what you should get treated. If you treat animals in a poor way, or maybe if you treat people that have nothing to offer you, and that you just want to subjugate, however you treat people that has nothing that they can do to help you is also going to say how you are and how you get treated yourself. Anyway, W Stream, thank you, Kaz. I appreciate you guys. Let's go Raptors. Beat the Pacers. You guys are the more talented team. You guys have the better record. Don't play with your food. Get it done and do it right. And I don't want to see any crazy, weird way that y'all lose to Rick Carlisle and the Pacers tonight because Raptors Nation will fall out. I know they will. Either way, I'm confident in our guys, and I know they will execute and do it right. We heard Scotty on the mic in the last game, and what he's saying to the team, you could hear the team leader that Scotty Barnes is when he was wearing the mic against Philadelphia on Monday. So, yeah, get the leadership going, Scott, and get a lot of points tonight and beat Siakam. How about that? How about that, Scotty? You versus Pascal. You going to beat Siakam tonight? I know you relish this matchup because Siakam's your favorite player in the NBA, and I know you want to beat him. All right, let's go, Raptors. Let's go and beat the Pacers tonight. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the reaction, 9:30 a.m. Thursday.